Yeah, of course.
Anyway, shall we start?
We can start.
Yeah, just hold on.
Shall we start?
Laptop can be available. Mandir can follow. Yes. Number shiny first.
Okay, we'll get started. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone, and welcome. There are open seats, so if anybody is interested, please come join and you can do the puja. જે લોકોની ઈચ્છા હોય આપણી પાસે ઘણી બધી અહીંયા જગ્યા છે પૂજા કરવા માટે તો આપ જોઈન થઈ શકો છો પૂજામાં. In the first part, our Maharaji is going around and doing tilak as we begin this auspicious occasion and service. For those of you that are joining us at home, turn towards each other and make sure you apply this little kumkum or chandan between the eyebrows as we begin the ceremony. Next, the sacred thread is tied around the wrist, symbolic of protection, symbolic of our commitment, and symbolic of blessings. Yes. Yes, you always do right hand actually. Only married women tie it on their left hand. Usually unmarried women will tie it on their right hand. Yes. And the reason why it's left hand for married women is because once you get married, you actually merge together as one soul. Even though you're two different souls, you're one body or one entity. So if the husband is the right hand, the wife is now committed to be the left hand. And the right and the left together is what makes such holy actions possible. So it's a commitment saying that if you're going to be the right hand, then I'll be the left hand. We'll make sure we complete each other as we take on this auspicious act. Yeah. All right, now let us begin. We'll first begin with Jai Ghosh. So with folded hands, we're going to pray and invoke three special deities to help us today. First is Lord Ganesh, to remove all the obstacles from our actions today. Our Gurudev, for giving us the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to do this service today and this puja and this vrat. And then obviously Lord Mahadev, for always teaching us to be sacrificial in our nature, to always put our needs second and put the wealth and the well wishes of the universe first. Swaste Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Hara. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone, and welcome. As we begin the first part of Satyanarayan Katha, first part is puja. Puja in our scriptures, in our Sanskriti, in our culture, means worship. What does worship mean? Worship means admiration. Admiring the qualities of a good person, that is puja. Now, why is puja important? Puja allows us to ground our mind in good values. Think about when we admire someone. So when we admire a hero, when we admire a good personality, our admiration goes so far that we begin to emulate that person, right? We want to talk like them. We want to behave like them. We want to dress like them. That is worship. Our culture says that if you are going to worship, if you're going to admire, then admire divine qualities. If you admire Purushottam, the best of men, then you will become the best yourself. So the idea of puja is to admire those qualities and absorb those qualities in our life. So we will learn about all of those principles today as we do the puja. What's the significance of all the rituals that we do? Why do we use so many things in puja? Why do we do this puja? There's two parts to the puja. There's the actual act of the worship, which we will explain as we go along. And then the second part are the mantras. The mantras are Sanskrit verses that are recited as we do this act. Now, why are these verses important? Sanskrit is the language of our scriptures. Sanskrit is the ancient Indian language that is more than 5,000 years old. Sanskrit is a very unique language because Sanskrit was designed for memory, believe it or not. In the old days, we didn't have books like we have today. Things were passed on generation after generation by word of mouth, by memorizing. Well, what is the best way to remember? Do you guys know? What is the best way to remember? If I give you a paragraph to remember, you will have a very difficult time remembering. But what if I turn it into a song? You know the reason why songs are easier to remember than words? Because it uses the right side of our brain, which we hardly use. So Sanskrit is a language that's designed to activate the right side of our brain. So even if we don't understand Sanskrit, just hearing the words and the vibration that it creates activates the right side of our brain. And so today, those are two things I want you to learn and do today. First, follow what we're doing for the ritual, understand and ground yourself in the meaning. And second, try to feel the vibration of the Sanskrit slokas that you hear. Okay, so let's start with our very first ritual. The first thing we do before we begin any ceremony is called Mangalacharana. Mangal means auspicious. Acharana means action. As we begin this auspicious action, we have to get our mind frame right. We have to forget all of the material things that are running through our mind. All of our worries and tensions and stress, we put that to the side as we focus on the day and the action that we're doing today. So that's why first thing we're going to do is Mangalacharan. So again, as I said, we're going to recite the shlok that is going to create this mind state for us. So what I want you to do is fold your hands together in the prayer pose. You're going to close your eyes and try to feel for the vibration. Hari Om Bhadram Karnebihi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabirye Jatra Stire Rangye Sushtuvagvam Sastanu Bivyarshe Deva Hitam Yada Yuhu. Open your eyes. You see the sense of calmness that comes over? This is the power of the mantra. This is how we get our mind into the right frame. Next, we're going to do Pavitrikaranam. Pavitrikaranam means we have purified our mind. Now we have to make sure environment is correct. Our environment is also purified. So for that, we're going to take a little bit of clean water in our right hand, and we're going to cover it up with our left hand. After the mantras are chanted, we're going to sprinkle that water all around us. Now, what is the significance of this? The significance of this is realizing and recognizing that there are many distractions around me. And today, what I'm going to do is to commit to those distractions being minimized. And that's the idea, so that I can focus, I can learn, and I can achieve the spiritual upliftment that this ritual is about to give me. Okay? So with that, we'll chant the mantra, and then you're going to sprinkle the water all around us. Om apavitraha pavitro vam sarvavastham gato piva yasmaret pundarikaksham sabaya vyantara suchihi. Om punata punrikakshaha punatuhu. Go ahead and sprinkle the water all around you. Next, now that our environment is pure, our mind is pure, we're going to purify 3 elements in our body. That is our intellect, so our thought process, our speech, and our conscious, our inside alertness. Those things, the man, chit, and consciousness is what we're going to try to, and vani. Those are the 3 things we're going to purify. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take some water in our right hand, and after the mantra is chanted, we're going to sip it, and we're going to do that 3 times, okay? So very first time, go ahead and take some water in your right hand, and after the mantra is chanted, you go ahead and sip that water. Om Keshavaya Swaha. Go ahead, sip the water. Next, take a second spoonful of water in your right hand again. Om Narayanaya Swaha. Go ahead and sip that water. And then a third time. Go ahead and get a little bit of water in your right hand. Om Madhavaya Swaha. Go ahead and drink that water. Now take a little bit of water. This time we're not going to drink. We're just going to wash our hand. Okay, so take a little bit of water, and you have a napkin on your table. Just wash your hands onto that napkin or paper towel. Okay, yes. No, there's no such thing. Yes. You have a plate too for leaving the water, so you can put the water in there as well. If you can't do some part of it, don't worry about it. There's always one way that you can do it, which is with your mind. At the end of the day, remember, these rituals are designed to uplift us, to make us better. We don't have to actually do the physical act to get the benefit. Even if we do it mentally, we can get the same benefit. So, If you can't do it physically, then try to do it mentally. Okay? Very good. The next is called Shikha Pujanam. Shikha is this little ponytail that you have seen a lot of the priests will keep in the middle of their head. Shikha is a symbol of good thought. So just as a radio has a little antenna, right, that allows us to capture the radio waves, similarly, the vibrations in the universe are created all throughout. And those vibrations create positive energy all around us. Shikha works as a symbol of receiving that positive energy. And so this is why we worship that Shikha. Shikha is also a commitment, saying that my mind will always be full of positive thoughts. We say positive thinking, right? Give everybody benefit of the doubt. That's what the Shikha really means. It means I'm a positive thinker, right? When somebody does something bad, we immediately resort to negative thinking. That person is bad. That person is horrible. That is not Shikha thinking. Shikha Devi, the deity of that good vibration, tells us that always give people the benefit of the doubt. We never know the circumstances that people are going through. None of us wake up in the morning and say we want to be horrible today, right? Do we ever say that? We want to be a bad person? We want to hurt other people? No. But throughout the day, things happen to us that make us maybe do actions that we don't like doing, right? And so the idea is always give people benefit of the doubt, be positive in our thinking. And that's why we do Shikha Pujan. So what we're going to do is take some water in our left hand this time, and we're going to dip the fingers of our right hand. And we are going to then take those fingers and touch in the middle of our forehead, right here, where the Shikha should be. Okay, may Shikha Devi give us good vibrations all throughout our life. Om Chidrupini Mahamai Divya Teja Samanvite Tishtha Devi Shikha Madhye Tejam Vruddhim Kuruswame. Excellent. Now you can leave the rest of the water in the plate that you have in front of you. All right, the next ritual we're going to do is called pranayam. Pranayam is taking deep breaths. Now, why is pranayam important? A lot of kids, when we used to do Gita class, they used to come and ask me a question. They used to say, how do I know that God exists? How do I know that Krishna exists? It seems like there's so many mythological stories. No one has seen Krishna. No one has seen God. So how do I know that he exists? Or she exists? There's plenty of proof around us. Think about this. We live in a planet where there's plenty full of water. How much of our planet is made up of water? Do you guys know? 60%. Okay? You have so many oceans around, right? But can you drink the water from the ocean? What will happen if we drink the water from the ocean? We will get sick, right? So for our convenience, someone designed a system where we can get purified water that is drinkable. Who did that? Mother Earth made grains so that we can eat. How was that possible? Who planted the first seed? Where did that all come from? The sun shines every single day, regardless of the date, holiday, whatever festival, without mistake, without ever missing a day. Who makes that possible? And most importantly, you and all survive on only one thing. What is the one thing we survive on? Oxygen. If we did not have oxygen in the air, you and I will not be alive. And guess what? That oxygen, not only oxygen amount, but the exact fraction of oxygen is important. Our air consists of 21% oxygen. If we go a little bit below that, if we go 20.9% oxygen, we would all feel shortness of breath. If we go a little bit above that, 21.1% oxygen, we would all have injuries in our lungs. So 21% oxygen. Who makes sure that that fraction stays constant? We say, oh no, it's photosynthesis. It's the trees in the world. Well, we've broken down so many trees. We've gotten rid of so many trees in the world. Yet that oxygen level never goes down. Who's making sure of that? That is the proof of God. That is the proof of grace. That divine grace exists all around us. And the reason why we must feel this divine grace is because that grace is there to uplift us, to make us better. And that's why it's important. So pranayam, coming back to our ritual, is the ritual for appreciating that grace that exists all around us. So now we're going to focus on our breathing, that oxygen, that vital breath that keeps us alive, and see the grace of God in that vital breath. Okay? So I want you to sit up straight. Put your hands in your lap if you can, and close your eyes, and you're going to take some deep breaths. And again, listen to the Sanskrit verses as we recite them. Hari Om Bhuha Om Bhuvaha Om Svaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Tatsavidur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Naha Prachodayat Om Apo Jyoti Rasomrutam Brahma Bhurabhuvah Swaha Om. May open your eyes. The next ritual we're going to do is called Nyas. Just as we breathe in that energy now flows throughout our entire body. Within each one of our organ, that energy flowing gives us energy for those organs to work. When that energy flow is blocked, then a specific organ in our body stops working. So we're going to now worship each of that organ and appreciate that energy continuously flowing through. So what we're going to do is take some water into our left hand. We're going to dip the fingers of our right hand again. And whichever part of the body that I tell you, you're going to touch that with that water, that clean water. And the idea is appreciation of that energy flow through that organ. Om Vangmaya Sestu, your mouth. Om Nasorme Pranostu, your nostrils. Om Akshanorme Chakshurastu, your eyes. Om Karnayorme Sotramastu, your ears. Om Bahavorme Balamastu, your shoulders. Om Urvome Ojostu, your thighs. Om Arishtani Mengani Tanustanvame Sasantu, through your entire body. We've done now is when we actually do the tilakam. So tilakam is when you apply the kumkum paste or the chandan paste between the eyebrows. Do you all know why do we apply that there? Why do we apply? Yes. Yeah, what's the third eye? Enlightenment. But what's it, enlightenment? Do all of us have a third eye? My third eye doesn't seem to be open. It's actually in our scriptures said to be the seat of the soul. The third eye is actually our soul. Our soul is able to see even when our eyes are closed. That's why it's referred to as the third eye. But this is why we worship and put kumkum or put tilak over between the eyebrows. The element that is worthy of worship within this body is not this body, because this body is going to go through many changes. right? We're young, then we become old. We go through so many changes in this physical body. That is not my true identity. The true identity, truly who I am, is the soul. And so it's the worship of that soul is why we apply the tilak between the eyebrows. Now, there's a question that comes up, and a lot of the girls will ask me this question. So why are women required to wear this bindi all the time between the eyebrows? Why is it that they wear that? Do you guys know the answer to that? How come men don't wear this, but women wear this? That would be some very generic answer or an answer that you would walk away with, is that we're a patriarchal society. We make women do things that men don't do. But that is not the accurate answer. The reason why our rishis started this tradition is to remind everybody that women are considered weak or considered different than men, but they still share the same soul as every human being. And because of that reminder, women wear bindi. Look at me. Don't look at me as this physical body. Don't look at me as a gender. Don't look at me as lacking this or having this, but look at me as a soul. Look at me as a complete being. That was the idea why rishis asked our women to wear the bindi. So that it could be a reminder for the society that don't discriminate based on appearance, based on gender, and based on looks. That we are all equal at the source. Make sense? Excellent. All right. So we've done that. We've done the Raksha Bandhan, which is tying of that sacred thread around the wrist, which is symbolic of our commitment to, again, have positive thoughts and do good deeds in the world and have good karmic actions. Next, we're going to do Shanti Pat. Shanti Pat is peacefulness. Peacefulness around us, peacefulness in our mind, and peacefulness in our heart. So with folded hands and closed eyes, we're going to ask for that peace to be in our life eternally and in our mind. Our mind is very agitated. It likes to jump from one thought to the next. Focusing that mind in divine thoughts and divine action is what we need to do every day. And so this is why the Shanti Pat is allowing our mind to become calm. Om Dyo Shantirantariksha Shanti Prithavi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shanti Vishve Devah Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Redi Om Vishwani Deva Savitur Duritani Para Suvaha Yadabhadram Tanna Asuvaha Om Shanti 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 Sarvarishta Shushantir Bhavatu. You may open your eyes. Next is Prithvi Pujanam. Prithvi Pujanam is worshipping Mother Earth. It's not simply offering flowers and rice grains to Mother Earth. That's part of this ritual. But this ritual is a reminder that Mother Earth, the reason why we call her Mother, is she gives us so much unselfishly. She gives us water, shelter, food. She nurtures us, makes her life possible. Despite all the trouble that we give her, just like our mother, right? We plow onto her chest, right? We give her pain. We dig holes into her body. We uproot trees, sort of like her hairs. We pull them out from the roots. Imagine the intense pain that would cause us. But despite that, she never lets go of taking care of us. So we appreciate her today. We offer her thanks. But not only offer her thanks, but commit to preserve her. minimize the destruction that we do in our life. What does that mean? What does that mean? How can we protect Mother Earth? What's one thing we can do to make sure we can give her comfort? Do you guys know? Recycle. Simple thing is recycle. Create less waste, right? Use only as much as you need. Don't waste. When you waste food, right, that's hard work that Mother Earth has done for us that we're throwing away. So committing ourselves to make sure we think about that every time is why we do Prithvi Puja. So we'll take some flower petals in our hand and some rice grains. And on the right hand, and cover it up with your left hand. After the mantras are chanted, we're going to put it in front of the idols that are in the plate before you. Om Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Samaswame Bhudevi Mata Ki Jai. Go ahead and put those flower petals in front of the idols that are in the plate before you. Next, we are going to do Namaskaran. Namaskaran is invoking all the divine energies that are in the universe. Each of these divine energies inspires us to be better. So we start with Lord Ganesh. Lord Ganesh inspires us lots of great things. If you want to be a leader in your life, then you have to follow what Lord Ganesh is teaching us. So if you look at the image of Lord Ganesh, you see that he has big ears. What does that mean? Listen more. You don't see a mouth on Lord Ganesh, right? Which means speak less. Listen more, speak less. Then you see an axe that he carries in one hand. Why does he carry an axe? Axe is self-control. Make sure you limit yourself. Don't overdo things. Always think about that. He carries a rope in one hand. Rope is restrain. Make sure you restrain from overindulgence. Restrain from getting involved in things that are not to the benefit of the world and for yourself. And then he carries a modak in one hand, and then one hand is up for blessings. Modak is not there for him to eat. When something is there for us to eat, we hide it. We close our fist, right? But he has left it open. So what does that mean when you have open hand with food inside? It's for sharing. Share what you have. Share the gifts that you've been given in life with others. If we do those things, we will be unmatched leader in the universe. This is what Lord Ganesh is teaching us. And then, who does he ride? What does he ride on? What's the animal? Mouse. Do you know why he rides on a mouse? He's so big, but he rides on a little mouse. He's saying a message to us that first of all, don't ever be a burden on even the littlest bit of mouse in our life. So try to do everything yourself as much as you can. Don't be a burden, okay? Don't expect your mom to clean your room. Don't expect dad to pick up after you, right? Do those things yourself. Become independent. That's first lesson. Second, mouse is always active. So Lord Ganesh says that to be successful, you have to ground yourself in action. Be active. Don't sit and hope things work out. Work towards your goals, towards what you want, and you will be successful. So with those lessons, that's just Lord Ganesh. Every single god has these great values that they teach us. And so we invoke that today. May those principles come into our lives. May we embrace those values, and may we be successful in our life with those values. That's the idea with Namaskaran. It's folded hand and closed eyes. As I say the name of the god or the divinity, please think about their image and think about the inspiration that they're giving us. Om Shriman Mahaganadipate Namaha. Om Shri Lakshminarayabhyay Namaha. Om Shri Uma Maheshwarabhyay Namaha. Om Shri Sachipurandarabhyam Namaha. Om Shri Vani Hiranyagarbhabhyam Namaha. Om Shri Matrupitru Charanakamaleebhyo Namaha. Om Shri Ishtadevatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Kuladevatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Gramadevatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Vastudevatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Sthanadevatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Grahamandala Devatabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha. Om Shri Sarvebhyo Brahmanebhyo Namaha. Om Shri Sarvebhyo Tirthebhyo Namaha. Om Shri Ekat Karma Pradhana Devataya Shri Satyanarayana Devataya Namaha. Om Punyam Punyaham Dirdamayurastu. May open your eyes. The next ritual we're going to do is called Sankalpam. Sankalpam is determination. In our scriptures, determination is utmost of importance. You'll hear that in the story of Satyanarayan Katha. Determination means making up of your mind. It's mental strength. And mental strength is critically important. So, how many of you have heard the story of Mahabharata? Do you know what Mahabharata is about? Have you seen the story of Mahabharata or heard the story of Mahabharata? Do you know there is a character in Mahabharata that represents mental determination? Who is that character? Can you guess? I'll give you a clue. He's very strong. Bhim. Yes. Bhim represents mental determination. And what is Bhim capable of? Anything. Your mental determination is the key success factor that allows you to do anything in life. If you make up your mind, our scriptures say you can do anything. You yourself can become divine. You can do anything in this universe. Nothing is impossible if you make up your mind. Mental determination is thus very important. And that is the first critical component of how we embark on this journey of spirituality. We have to make up our mind. Now, what is the mind makeup that we have to do? A lot of times we go through life and we think we are the best, right? I'm the best. I'm perfect. I can never make mistakes. When things happen to me, it's everybody else's fault. That's how we think. That's our mind frame, day in and day out. When things don't go our way, we get angry. When things go our way, we say that's my doing, my actions. We take credit for it. The mental determination, the sankalpam today, is realizing that I'm not perfect. That I still have things to improve. Right? I still have emotions. I still have things that I need to work on to be better. That is your path towards spirituality. This is what Hinduism teaches us. In our scriptures, spirituality is not coming to the temple and worshiping or doing puja or observing rituals or fasting. That is not spirituality. Spirituality is a better version of who you are. If fasting, doing puja, doing Satyanarayan Katha, coming to the Punam every month and listening to the Katha makes you a better person at the end of the year, that is your true spirituality. That is what we should be striving for. So the mental determination today, the sankalp today, is making up our mind that we are going to be a better version of ourselves. Right? Whoever I am today, I'm going to be a better person. If I think negatively all the time, I'm going to give up that negative thinking. If I'm hurt all the time, I'm going to make sure I don't give pain to others. If I hold a grudge against someone, I'm going to make sure that I forgive and forget. Right? That's a better version of me. I'm going to identify those values that define me, and I'm going to make sure that I stick with those no matter what. That's a better version of me. That is the determination we're making today. That is the sankalp, okay? And whatever we make our mind, we can achieve it. All right, so with that, what I want you to do is with your right hand, hold a spoonful of water in the spoon itself. You don't need to take it out. You're going to hold it until the mantras are chanted, and then I'm going to leave it in the plate that's in front of you, okay? Now, there's a part of this that you're going to have to recite with me. So first part I'm going to say, and then the next part you're going to say with me, okay? And I'll prompt you when it's time for you to repeat after me. First part, I'm going to recite. Om Shri Vishnu 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 Srimad Bhagavato Mahapurusasya Vishnu Ragyaya Pravartamanasya Adashi Brahmano Dvitiya Prarde Shri Svetavaraha Kalpe Vaivasvatamanmantare Ashtam Vishatitame Kalo Kaliyuge Prathama Charane Bhulorke Pushkara Dvipe Hiranyavarse America Kshetre America Khande Illinois Rajye Chicago Nagare Bensonville Kshetre Shalini Vahan Sake Sahastra Navam Shatam Chaturtho Dasham Saptame Varshe Bhadra Padmasottama Mase Shukala Pakshe Bhanu Vasare Purnima Tithe Purva Bhadra Nakshatre Shubharuto Sarvagraheshu Yatha Rashi Sthanasthiteshu Satsu Evam Guna Visheshena Vishishyatam Shubha Punyotithe Kashyapasagotre Gotrotpanne. Now say your names. Yajamano, now say after me. Mama, Atmanaha, Shruti, Smruti, Puranokta, Phala, Prapyartham, Mama, Kutumbasya, Kshema, Sthairya, Ayushya, Arogya, Chaturvida, Purushartha, Siddhi, Artham, Angikruta, Shri Satyanarayana, Vratam, Gatvena, Shampadita, Samagraya, Shri Ganesh, Gauri, Varuna, Brahma, Suryadi, Navagraha, Samaksha, Ashta, Lokapala, Ganapati, Chatushta, Devata, Pujan, Purvakam, Shri Satyanarayana, Prityartham, Yatha, Shakti, Yatha, Milito, Upachare, Dravye, Puranokta, Mantrescha, Dhyana, Avahanam, Shodasopchare, Shri Satyanarayana, Pujanam, Tatha, Vratokta, Katha, Shravanam, Cha, Karishye. Now you can put the water into the plate. Again, it's declaring that determination. Excellent. Next, we are going to do puja of the Kalash. So Kalash is the copper pot that's full of water that's in front of you. There should be two pots. Both of them should be filled with water. Take one of those pots and put it in the plate in front of you. Then you should have some leaves. So, what Kalash represents, it's a symbol of our body. Okay? What this ritual represents is the sentiment and the thinking that our body is actually our temple. We have to treat it like temple, right? So just as this temple is clean, right? There isn't dirt anywhere. What do we bring into the temple? We only bring good things, sattvic things. Similarly, this body is the temple for the soul. We shouldn't put things in it that shouldn't belong there. We shouldn't put dirty things in there that don't go in there. We should keep it clean. We should keep it pious and holy. That's the idea behind worshiping of the Kalash. So Kalash is a pot that's full of water. Just like our bodies are filled with 60% water, the Kalash is full with water. Then we put the leaves. You have some leaves, betel nut leaves that are on your table. So take about 3 to 5 of those leaves, as many as you have, and leave 1 or 2 leaves behind because we'll need it for the other part of the puja. So put those leaves in, and then you have a coconut that goes on top of those leaves. Okay? The coconut represents our head. The leaves The leaves represent our limbs, our arms and legs. Now, why do we use betel nut leaf in puja or in worship? Betel nut leaf has a special property, right? Do you guys know why do we use betel nut leaves? What's the property that it has? It has medicinal property. You take it and you put it into your mouth and you chew it, you crush it. What does it do? Yeah, it gives you, it's a mouth freshener, so it gives you good breath. Not only does it give you good breath, but it protects your teeth and your gums from infection. Now, why is that important? Why am I sharing this with you? The reason why this is important is look what we did to the pond, to the leaf. We crushed it. And despite crushing it, what did it do? It gave us benefit. It protected us. So what this is telling us, and the reason why we use the betel nut leaves in puja, is in our life, with our limbs, with our arms and legs, do those actions that not only benefit us, but benefit everybody, benefit the universe. And when we do those actions, we become divine. When we do those actions, despite what harm we get, despite injuries and harm that we may endure, we give to others. That sacrifice is what this betel nut leaf represents. And that principle, when we live in our life, we become divine. We become pure. So that is the idea, is why that's used. And then we have a coconut on top that represents our head. So now that we have a Kalash that is completed, now we're going to, so with the way you place the coconut is there are two eyes. You'll see there are actually two little black holes up on top. They should go on top. They represent our eyes there. And then you should then have the leaf that are coming out to the side, okay? All right, now we're going to do puja of this goddess. Just as this body is a gift, divine gift, that we've been given the limbs, the eyes to see, all the five senses to be able to operate in the world, it truly is an instrument for divine action. And so with that, we'll do the puja. So you have now all the puja samagri with you. So you have flowers, you have rice grains, you have different color powders in the plate in that. So bring that close to you so you can use those for the puja. And now let me explain to you what the different color the different color powders are. So you should have red paste. Red is representative of love. The true love in life should be towards divine qualities. That's why we use red powder. You should have yellow powder. Yellow powder represents renunciation or giving up, sacrifice. We should give up material things and aspire to be more spiritual in our life and to focus on our soul. So that was what the yellow powder represents. You should have white powder in the plate. White powder represents purity of our character. We must be pure in our character in order to be divine. And so this teaching us to be pure in our life. What does purity of a character mean? That means having positive thoughts, never thinking to harm anybody else. Those are all good character qualities that we should embrace. And then you should have a pink powder in there too. Pink represents happiness. True happiness in life doesn't come from things. True happiness in life comes from being divine, from being a good person, from having good karmas. That's where our true happiness is in life. And so this is why those color powders are used. Along with that, you use flower petals. We also use rice grains. Flowers represent the fruits of our actions. Rice grains represent the fruit of our actions. Flowers represent the best in the universe. Those are all divine gifts that we are being granted in life. So see them as prasad, see them as gift, and give them back to God whenever we can, is the idea behind using all of these different elements to do puja. Okay, so with that, yes, you have a question. Everyone is given a divine gift because of a purpose. We all have a purpose and a part to play in the universe. Sometimes we don't know what that purpose is, but the gifts have been given to help you serve. Each one of us has been given a gift, whether you accept it or not. Some people might say, I don't have any gifts. No, you do. You actually do. If you dig deeper into your life, you will find that there's something that you do great, something that comes natural to you. That gift is a gift given to you to be shared. That gift is given to you so that you can benefit everybody. Now, if all of us had the same gift, then we wouldn't be able to benefit from each other, right? We would all be able to excel at everything. This is why we're all given different gifts, so that we can complement each other. And collectively, as a whole, we as a community, we can be better. So that's the idea behind why there's variation in who's been given what gift. Oftentimes what happens is that we take our gift for granted and we're envious of other people's gifts, right? Someone has more money, someone has better clothes, someone has a better car. It makes us jealous, it makes us envious. Instead, see those as gifts. What you have, they may not have, right? And often appreciating that and accepting that is part of our journey in spirituality. Right? Excellent. Great question. All right, so with that, let's do Kalash Pujan. So first, you're going to take some kumkum paste. I'm going to chant some mantras here, and you're going to apply that paste to the coconut, between the eyebrows, just like you did, with the rice grains going on top of that, then some flower petals, and then all the different colored powders we're going to sprinkle on top, okay? Hari Om Kalasasya Mukhe Vishnu Kanthe Rudra Samashrita Mule Tatra Sthito Brahma Madhye Matrungana Smrita Kukshotu Sagara Sarve Saptadvipa Vasundara Rugvedothya Jorvedo Samavedo Atharvana Angesha Sahita Sarve Kalasantu Samashritaha Atra Gayatri Savitri Santi Pushti Kari Sada Tvai Tishthanti Bhutani Tvai Prana Pratishtita Shiva Swayam Tvamevasi Vishnu Stamcha Prajapati Aditya Vasavo Rudra Vishvedeva Sapaituka Tvai Tishthanti Sarvepi Yata Kama Phala Pradaha Tat Prasadadimam Yagyam Kartumihe Jalodbhava Sanidhyam Kurume Deva Prasanno Bhava Sarvada Namo Namaste Svatika Prabhaya Susvetaharaya Sumangalaya Supasahasta Yajasashanaya Jaladinatha Yanamo Namaste Om Varunaya Sangaya Saparivaraya Savidaya Shashaktikaya Namo Namaha. Offer some flower petals on top, or a whole flower you can offer on top. All right, now, if I can ask our Maharaji, Ashirvachan.
Yes, sure.
So now, our Maharaj will come and do Ashirvachan. They'll sprinkle some water on all of us from the Kalash itself. And the idea is to give us all the blessing. Just as this Kalash symbolizes divine actions, may those divine actions be embraced in our life. So all we need you to do is close your eyes and fold your hands together. There's part of this I'm going to recite, and then the Brahman is going to give you all a blessing. So you're going to recite this after me. Bo, say after me. Bo, Brahmanaha, Mahyam, Sahakutumbine, Mahajanmani, Maskurvanaya, Ashirvachan, Pekshamanaya, Asya, Karmanaha, Punyam, Bhavanto, Bruvantum. Again, Bo, Brahmanaha, Mahyam, Sahakutumbine, Mahajanmani, Maskurvanaya, Ashirvachana, Pekshamanaya, Asya Karmana, Kalyanam, Bhavanto, Bruvantu. Third time, Bo, Brahmanaha, Mahyam, Sahakutumbine, Mahajanmani, Maskurvanaya, Ashirvachana, Pekshamanaya, Asya Karmanaha, Ruddhi, Bhavanto, Bruvantum. Fourth time, Bo, Brahmanaha, Mahyam, Sahakutumbine, Mahajanmani, Maskurvanaya, Ashirvachana Pekshamanaya Asya Karmanaha Swasti Bhavanto Bruvantu. Okay, last time. Bo Brahmanaha Mahyam Sahakutumbine Mahajanmani Maskurvanaya Ashirvachana Pekshamanaya Asya Karmanaha Shri Swasti Shri Bhavanto Bruvantu. Astu Shri. Anena punyaha asana akhena karmana prajapati priyatam. All right. Very good. You can open your eyes now. Now next thing we're going to do is a Deepa Pujanam. Deepa Pujanam is worshipping of a lamp. We have a lamp in front here. So what we want you to do is take some flower petals and rice grains in your right hand, cover it up with your left hand. Now, we worship a lamp, and lamp is very specific. It's not a candle. In our scriptures in Hinduism, we use a lamp. And there's a reason why we use a lamp. A lamp is handmade. How is it handmade? It has three components, right? It has a copper pot or plate. It has ghee, which is a purified butter. And it has a wick. It has cotton. And the lamp is lit, which uses up that ghee and spreads light and spreads energy around. The reason why lamp is made this way is because it carries a very strong message for divinity within us. And like you asked a question, why do we all have different gifts? Why are we given gifts? The ghee in the lamp represents our gifts. The wick represents our karmic actions. And burning of that wick represents our life. That's why we say that the diya or the lamp goes off when somebody expires or dies, right? Because their karmic actions stop. That body's karmic actions stops. So the lamp is representative of karmic actions. Now what is it the message of that karmic action? Just as the ghee is given to the lamp, what does it do with the ghee? Does it hoard itself? No. It burns itself to provide heat and energy around. It eliminates darkness and gives us light. So in life, may our actions not only uplift ourselves, but also others. May our actions inspire others. Right? So, you all know who Gandhiji is, right? Mahatma Gandhi. Right? What is amazing about Mahatma Gandhi? What do we like about Mahatma Gandhi? He was a divine soul, and he did something that was superhuman, right? He got India liberated without a single injury, without a single weapon. Amazing feat, amazing accomplishment. Did he do that for himself? No. Who did he do it for? For the world, for us, for the future generations to come. That is living the life of a lamp. That is a diya. When our actions uplifts the entire universe, becomes the inspiration for many generations to come, that is a lamp. This is what the lamp is teaching us. That's why we worship lamp in our puja. So with that thought, may that lamp inspire us to be good in our life. We're going to do our puja. So again, cover the flower and the rice grains with your left hand. We're going to chant the mantra, and then we're going to offer that to a lamp, symbolic of the lamp, or you have the idols in front of you, you can offer it there. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Deepastha Namo Namaha. Om Agnir Jyotiragnihi Swaha. Jyotihi Surya Suryo Jyotihi Swaha. Agnir Varcho Jyotirvarcha Swaha. Jyotihi Surya Suryo Jyotihi Swaha. Bodhipadeva Rupaswam Karma Sakshi Havindkruta yavat karma samapteha syat vadastha sthiro bhavah. Om Bhurbhuvasva Dipasya Devadaya Namo Namaha Avahayami Sthapayami Dhyayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. You can leave those flower petals and rice grains in front of the idols that are in front of you. Now we'll begin our very first puja after the Deepa Puja, and that is worship of Lord Ganesh. We talked about everything that Lord Ganesh symbolizes. Now we're going to offer and appreciate every single element of Lord Ganesh by doing this puja. First, we're going to invite him to come. So what we're going to do is pick up that idol. You have a betel nut leaf, an extra one that's sitting there. Put that in the plate that's in front of you, your puja plate. You can remove the kalash that's in your plate away from that and put it behind. And now put a betel nut leaf right in the middle, and then put Lord Ganesh's idol in that betel nut leaf. And just as we did the Kalash Puja with all the different things, we're going to do the same thing with Lord Ganesh. First, we're going to invite him to come. Now, why do we do idol worship in Hinduism? Why do we worship a little metal piece or a statue or an idol of God? Our scriptures say that God is not something that exists outside. God is all pervasive around us. God is in every single atom around us. Every atom is made up of what? Do you guys know? What are atoms made up of? Who's a science enthusiast here? Who knows science? Can you tell me what's an atom made up of? Yeah, 3 things. Protons, neutrons, electrons, right? 3 things. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Trinity. So atom is nothing else but representation of divine energy around us. That energy is not, atoms are not, somewhere outside. They're all around us and everything around us. Just as the same atoms are in the idol that's in front of you. So the idea is that my mind, if it embraces that reality that God exists everywhere, then God must exist in this idol. There's a beautiful story in Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a little boy who was only 5 years old, and he was a staunch believer in Lord Vishnu. But his father was a big atheist. Right? He didn't believe in God at all. He said, I am the biggest God in the universe. And nobody is bigger than me. I'm the most powerful one. And he refused to believe his son's ideology. In fact, he was so strong that he wanted to hurt his son significantly and make him forget completely who Lord Vishnu is and Lord Narayan. But Prahlad was so ingrained in the belief that God existed everywhere that he could not be shaken off that belief. So ultimately, one day, in the middle of Sabha, where everybody is around, he says, you say your God is everywhere? And then he points to a pillar and says, is your God in this pillar? And do you know who the kid was? Who was the kid? Prahlad. So he says, your God is in this pillar? I will destroy this pillar right now and show you that God doesn't exist. And he takes his mace and he strikes the pillar. And what happens? From pillar emerges Lord Narasimha, a form of Lord Vishnu. Right? So it's our belief. Whatever we believe in can come true in the universe. Similarly, we want you all to have faith that the idols that we worship are not simple idols, but that divine energy that's all around us. We worship it in that form so we can our mind can concentrate and focus. So with that, we'll do Ganesh Puja right now. First, we'll offer some flower petals and rice grains to invoke and invite him to come onto our plate. Om Ekadantam Chaturhastam Pasamankushadhanine Radam Cha Varadam Haste Bibranam Mushakadvajam Raktam Lambodara Surpa Karnakam Raktavasasam Raktagandano Liptangam Raktapushpe Supujitam Bhaktanukampinam Devam Jagatkaranamuchatam Avirvatam Cha Shushyado Prakrute Purushat Param Evam Dhyayati O Nityam Sanyogi Yoginam Vara Om Namo Vratapaday Namo Ganapaday Namo Pratampaday Namaste Sulambodara Ekadandaya Vignavinashne Shivasutaya Shri Vardamurti Namo Namaha Om Siddhi Buddhi Sai Srimad Mahaganadipataye Namaha Avahayami Dhyayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. Offer those 5 pearls and rice grains to the idol of Lord Ganesh. Now we're going to offer him 16-fold different facilities or different hospitality measures. So this is characteristic of how we should treat a guest, especially a divine guest in our life. And so what are those things? We offer them a seat. We offer them water to bathe. We offer them water to drink. We offer them food. We offer them after food, mukhavas after that. We offer them dakshina. We offer them clothes. We offer them panchamrit, the 5 nectars in the universe, the gifts. Now, why do we offer all of these things to a divine that has given those to us? I remind you of Mother's Day and Father's Day. What do you guys do on Mother's Day and Father's Day? Nothing? You get a card or you get a gift, right? And you go, give it to your mom and dad. Who bought the card? Your mom and dad. Who gave you the money for the gift? Your mom and dad. It's theirs, but when you buy it and you give it to them, how does that make them feel? Really good, right? Similarly, all of this is given to us by God, but this the act of giving back. It's the appreciation that is invaluable. That bhav, that emotion is what God is looking for. And that is why we do the षोडशोपचार puja. It's not because God needs all this. We do it because we want to give back, because we want to appreciate all that God has given us. So with that, let's do our puja. So first, we're going to offer asanam. So some flower petals again. Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namaha Asanam Samarpayami. Now we're going to offer a spoonful of water to wash his feet. So if you can reach his feet, then wash his feet. If you can't, then just offer the water on top. Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namaha Padyam Samarpayami. Now we're going to offer a spoonful of water to wash his hands. Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namaha Adaryam Samarpayami. Now we're going to offer a spoonful of water to help him drink of water. Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namaha Achmaniyam Samarpayami. Excellent. Now we're going to offer a spoonful of water to give him a bath. Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namaha Snanam Samarpayami. Now you should have a panchamrit next to you. Panchamrit are the 5 nectars that are combined together. The 5 natural nectars in the universe. Okay, milk, curd, ghee, what else? Shakar and mud, right? You guys have that? Apne panchamrit apish hai? So that panchamrit is then offered to Lord Ganesh. Yes, of course. If you ever go in the Ganesh festival in India, you will see that Lord Ganesh has many, many, many forms. That there are so many different forms that we imagine Lord Ganesh to be. Murtis, the idols, are nothing else but an imagination of the artist on the form. What does that divine entail? What is the image that we want to create? So when we think about Lord Krishna, when we think about Lord Ganesh, our view of that Lord can be so vast based on our experience, right? Some of us may want him to be a friend. We want him to look like us, with a book, with glasses, who's sitting down and reading, right? There's an image of Lord Ganesh that exists just like that, right? Some of us want him to dance because we love dancing, right? And we enjoy that or we appreciate that. So we have a dance form of Lord Ganesh. Some of us would like him to just sit and relax because we appreciate that's the best, part of life, or that's what we can, kind of empathize with. So that's a form that exists. So it all is based on our bhav. How do we want to see God in what image? And that's how we worship that image or that idol in that form. So I would say go and see all of those idols, and whichever invokes that feeling deep inside of attachment, that's the form that you should connect with. Okay, so now let's take a spoonful of that panchamrit and offer it to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipatayana Panchamrita Snanam Samarpayami. Excellent. Offer that on top. Now clean water. Panchamrita Snanante Suddhodak Snanam Samarpayami. And then now 3 times you're going to pull a spoonful of water on top. Suddhodak Snanante Achmaniyam Samarpayami. Achmaniyam Samarpayami. Achmaniyam Samarpayami. Now you should have a sacred thread, a moli or a thread that's in your plate. Take a piece of that thread, the red thread that you have, and offer it as you're offering clothing to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipate Namaha Vastropavastram Samarpayami. And now we're going to take, after that, we're going to take some fragrant paste, which is the yellow paste that you have in your box. We're going to take some yellow powder and offer it to him. That is symbolic of chandan. Chandan is very fragrant. So just as you put deodorant after taking a shower, we're offering that. May your fragrance, may your smell, may your inspiration be all around us. So we're going to offer that. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipatay Nama Chandanam Samarpayami. Now offer that on top. Very good. Now we're going to offer the white and the pink powders. Those are called Sobhagya Dravyams. We're going to offer that. Om Siddhi Buddhi Saisam Maganadipatay Nama Sobhagya Dravyam Samarpayami. Again, white represents our character and pink represents happiness. And then we're going to offer the red paste applied to his forehead. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipatay Namaha Kumkumam Samarpayami. Excellent. We're going to offer some rice grains on top of that. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipatay Namaha Akshatan Samarpayami. Excellent. Now we're going to offer some flower petals. Om Siddhi Buddhi Sesham Maganadipatay Namaha Pushpanim Samarpayami. And now the next is durva. Durva are strands of grass. Now grass is used in worship of Lord Ganesh specifically because it symbolizes something very significant. So as grass, it grows on the ground. It's very close to the ground, but it aims for the sky. And that is why grass is used, or durva is used in worship and puja. It's saying keep your goals very high. Don't minimize your goals. Don't think that you can't achieve something in life. Keep them high. The higher the goals, the more you're going to achieve. The more you'll be able to get closer to the sky. And so always keep your goals high is the durva. And so we offer durva. You may not have durva in your plate. If you don't have that, offer some rice grains as symbolic of that grass. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshmargaripatay Nama Durvam Samarpayami. Okay, go ahead and offer that. Now, dhup. Dhup is incense. And dhup represents fragrance, it represents aroma, it represents purity. All of our senses are engaged in puja. When we have incense, especially sandalwood or purifying scents, good, pure, natural flower scent, what happens? Do you know what happens? There's a sense of peace that overcomes our mind. We immediately become purified. We immediately become peaceful in our mind. Okay? Have you experienced that? When there's a good fragrance in the room, when there's a nice incense that's lit, what happens? You smell and you feel peaceful, right? So that is dhup. Whenever dhup is lit in the image of divine, it allows us to create that peacefulness around us. Okay, so that's the idea. So dhup, we'll offer that. We'll cover our mouth and nose with our left hand, and with the right hand we'll offer the dhup. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Dhupam Drapayami. Very good. Now we're going to show the lamp to Lord Ganesh, showing, may my life be as inspired as this lamp is. To show the lamp, we're going to cover now our eyes with our hand, and with our right hand, we're going to offer the lamp to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Deepam Darsayami. Very good. Now, in your plate, you should have some prasad items to offer, either good, or you should have the prasad in a little container. So take a little bit of that prasad and offer it to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Naivedyam Nivedayami. And now you should have a betel nut in that little bag with the thread. Yeah, you can offer, just put it right in front of the idol. Excellent. Now there's a betel nut there, which is your mukwas. That should be in your plate. Actual betel nut. In the bag, there it is. You can take that and you can offer it to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Tambulam Pungifalan Samarpayami. Very good. Now you should have some fruits on your table, so take one of the fruits and offer it to Lord Ganesh. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Phalam Samarpayami. Now, you should have some quarters or some change in your pocket. If you have that, then take some change out and offer it. This is dakshina. This is offering a little gift to Lord Ganesh. So if you don't have it, you can offer some rice grains. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Dakshinam Samarpayami. Now take some, if you want to take some little bit of flower petals in your hand, we're going to offer a little arti of Lord Ganesh. Very mini arti, then we'll do the big arti at the end. And what we're going to do is pick it up with our middle two fingers like this, and we're going to swing it in front of the idol as if we're offering an arti with a lamp, okay? Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Nirajanam Samarpayami. And now, those flower petals, leave that in front of the idol. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Pushpanjalim Samarpayami Kshamapanam Samarpayami Pradakshinam Samarpayami. Now with folded hand, we ask Lord Ganesh for his forgiveness. If we made a mistake, if we did anything wrong, please forgive us. Please accept this with all our heart, that we wish only the best, and we wish that he inspires us every day. Om Vigneshwaraya Varadaya Surapriyaya Lambodaraya Sakalaya Jagadvitaya Nagananaya Shrutiyagya Vibhushitaya Gauri Sutaya Gananatha Namo Namaste. Om Siddhi Buddhi Seshamargadipataye Namaha Sarva Bhave Namaskaran Samarpayami Anaya Pujya Vignaharta Mahaganapati Priyatam Ganapati Maharaj Ki Jai. Very good. Now we have Navagraha Pujanam we're going to do, so you guys should have a little Navagraha sort of plate in your plate. Yeah, symbol of Navagraha. It's all the 9 planets. Planets have a very important influence in our scriptures. What the planets tell us, they're not just simply those planets that go around Earth, but each of these planets has an influence on our mind, how we think, how we process thoughts, how we act. And so the influence of those planets, may it always inspire us, may it always lead us into the positive direction, is the idea behind Navagraha Puja. And may all of those planets always inspire us and lead us in the right path. The planets are balanced, right? We have many good planets. We have many planets that are considered negative energy. We need both positive and negative energy in life in order to make sure that we dissipate all of our karmic actions and karmic results. And so this is why the planets are not good or bad or evil. They're just doing their job. So we may say the person who collects the garbage has a terrible job. That person is not terrible. They may have a terrible job, a dirty job, right? Similarly, some of our grahas, like when we think about Sunny Devata, or we think about Rahu or Ketu, those planets are serving a role in the universe. That negative balance of energy allows for our karmic consequences to be equated. So this is what their purpose is. They themselves would never be divine if they were evil or if they were negative. The fact that they're gods, they're worthy of worship, means that they have selflessness at their core. And that's what they give to all of us. Okay? So with that, we'll do Navagraha Puja. So keep some rice grains and flower petals in your hand. When the mantras are chanted, we'll offer it to that little idol that's in front of you. Brahma Murari Stripurantakari Bhanu Sashibu Misuto Buddhascha Guruscha Shukra Sanirahu Ketav Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Om Shri Navagraha Devtabhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Navagraha Devta Avahayami Sthapyami Dhyami Tato Namaskaram Karomi Pushpanjalim Samarpayami. Go ahead and offer that. All right. The next, we are going to now, after this, go on straight to Puja of Lord Satyanarayan Dev. So now you can take the idol of Lord Ganesh and put it back in its place. You can take the Navagraha symbol that you have and put it back into the the other plate. And now take the little idol of Satyanarayan Dev and put it into the plate in front of you. First, we're going to invoke Lord Satyanarayan Dev to come into the plate, just like we invoked Lord Ganesh. Again, idol is symbol of that divine energy that's all around us. So keep some flower petals and rice grains in our hand. We're going to close our eyes and fold our hands together and listen to the energy of the Sanskrit verses. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrusham Megavaranam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vidyanagam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvaloke Kanatam Satyam Gunatitam Gunatraya Samanvitam Lokanatham Trilokesham Kaustubadharanam Harim Neelavarnam Pitavasam Srivatsapadabhushitam Govindam Gokulanandam Brahmardi Api Pujitam Namah Paramakalyanam Namah Paramamangalam Vasudevaya Kantaya Yadunam Pataye Namah Avahai Tvam Garudopasthitam Ramardadeham Surerajavanditam Kansantakchakragadam Jahastam Bhajami Devam Vasudevasutam Shri Lakshminarabhyaya Namaha Avahayami Sthapayami Dhyayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. You may open your eyes, offer the flower petals to the idol of Lord Satyanarayan Dev. Again, we're going to take some more flower petals and offer it as a seat for him to seat. Sihasane Ratnamaya Sadeva Hemabapitambara Shobhamane Krupanide Nandaja Viswa Sthiro Bhavasmin Mama Yagya Siddhay Om Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha Asanam Samarpayami. You can offer those flower petals. Again, now we're going to do puja. So if you have clothes on, you can take them off at this point. We're going to first offer a spoonful of water to wash his feet. Suvarna Patre Yamunajalam cha Gandhakshatay Pushpayutaischa Hetat Mayarpitam Padavinam Grana Bhojani Kinanamastam Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha Padyopadyam Samarpayami. Wash his feet. Adharyam, now water to wash his hand. Sunirmalam Janupadam Dinirgandam Gandhadyuktam Mahatbhajam Nivetam Viswarguru Tachoyam Guranachadir Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha Hastayo Adharyam Samarpayami. Washing his hands. Now water to drink. Bhokirtiswara Vishwabhao Brahmadi Pujit Pada Padma Gruhana Deva Shamaya Niveditam Vacham Metam Vishnu Di Vishnu Om Shrimadma Lakshminarabhyam Namaha Achmaniyam Samarpayami. Now snanam for bathing. Ganga Saraswati Reva Payushni Narmada Jale Snapitosi Maya Deva Tatha Shanti Kurushwame Om Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha Snanam Samarpayami. Now Panchamrata Snanam, the 5 nectars, offer that. Dadi madudritam cheva payascha sarkarayutam panchamrutam samanitam snanartham pratigruyatam Om Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha panchamruta snanam samarpayami. Now after that, clean water. Ganga jala samam sheetam nadi tirtham samudbhavam snanartham chamayadatam gruhatam parameshwaram Shri Lakshmanabhyam Namaha shuddhodak snanam samarpayami. And now one more spoonful of water for drinking. Suddhodak snanante achmaniyam samarpayami. Now you should have the second pot that's full of water next to you. Now we're going to do what's called abhishek. Abhishek is constant stream of water being applied to the idol. What this represents is our thought process, our focus. May our focus always be on the divine that's in front of us. That's the idea behind abhishek. So when I start the mantras, your goal is to continuously have water pouring on top of that idol. You have to do it slowly because it has to last for a while. So don't do it all at once. Do it gradually and slowly, as if you are giving a slow water stream on top, like as if you're doing abhishek. Okay. You ready? Shall we start? Hari Om Sahasra Shiraka Puruka Sahasraksha Sahasrapada Abhumim Vishwato Vritva Tasita Dashangulam Puruka Evedam Gum Sarvam Yadbudam Yacha Bhavyam Utamrita Tasyeshana Yadannena Tirohati Etavanas Mahima Ato Jayansha Puruka Padosha Vishwabhutani Tripadashyamratan Devi Tripadurdva Udvait Puruka Padosheha Bhavat Punaha Tato Vishwang Krama Sashanashanane Abhi Tasmat Virada Jayata Virajo Adipurukha Sajato Atyaritya Tapashat Bhumi Matho Puraha Atat Purushena Havisha Deva Yagyamatan Vata Vasanto Asyadi Sadajam Grishma Idma Saraddavi Saptasya Sanparidaya Stri Sapta Samida Krita Deva Yagyan Tanvana Abadan Purukham Pashum Tam Yagyam Baharshi Prokshan Purukham Jatam Agrata Tena Deva Ayajanta Sadyarashayashay Tasmatagya Sarvahuta Sambradam Prasdajam Pasumsam Chakre Vayavya Aranya Gramyashay Tasmadagya Sarvahuta Rajasa Samanajangire Tadasagni Jagire Tasma Tasmajata Ajavaya Yatpurukham Vedadaduhu Kadidava Kalpayan Mukham Simasyasitikim Bahu Kim Rupada Uchyata Brahmanosya Mukhamasida Bahu Rajanyah Krita Uru Tadasya Yadaveshyo Padabhyam Gum Shudro Ajayata Chandrama Manaso Jatam Chakshu Shuryo Ajayata Shotradvayusya Pranasya Mukhadagni Rajayata Nabhyam Asidantariksham Shishno Deo Samavartata Padabhyam Bhumidirsha Stotran Tatha Lokan Gvam Makalpayan Vedahametam purukham mahantam adityavarnam tamastu paresa sarvani rupani virjanti dhira namani kritya vishandanayadaste. Om Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Satyanarayana Deva Ki Jai. Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan Ki. Very good. Okay. Now you can stop. Now take one of the strings. We're going to offer some vastra. So take one of those sacred threads that you have and offer it. Sarva pushadi ke sommi lokalajja nivarane mayopapadi tetubhyam vasansi pratiguratam Shri Lakshmanabhya nama vastropavastram samarpayami. So offering that as clothes. If you don't have that, you can offer it as some rice grains as well, and that would be fine. Again, some more rice grains. Navbisantur bhiyuktam trigunam devatamaya pavitam maya adattam gruhana parameshwar Lakshmanabhyam yagyopavitam samarpayami. Now again, the yellow powder. Shikhandam chandanam divyam gandhadya sumanoharam vilipanam surasreshtam chandanam pratiguratam Lakshmanabhyam chandanam samarpayami. Now the red powder. Kumkumam kamana divyam kaminya kamasambhavam kumkumena chitodeva priyatam parameshwar Lakshmanabhyam namah kumkumam samarpayami. Now some rice grains. Akshatascha surasreshta kumkumukta shobhida maya niveditam bhaktam gruhana parameshwara Lakshmanabhyam namah akshatan samarpayami. Now some flowers. Malyadini sugandhini malyatadini vai prabho maya itani pushpani pujartham pratiguratam Lakshmanabhyam namah pushpanim samarpayami. Now you should have a tulsi patra in your plate. If you don't have one, you can just offer rice grains. But if you do, tulsi is the holy basil leaf that we offer. Tulasim hema rupam cha ratna rupam cha manjarim bhavamoksham pradatubhyam arpayamim harim priyam Lakshmanabhyam namah tulsi dalam samarpayami. Now it's Sobhagyadravani. Now your pink and the white powders. Abilam ayushyo vruddhi gulalam prativardhanam sindurena samayuktam gruhyatam parameshwaram Lakshmanabhyam namah sobhagyadravyanim samarpayami. Now we're going to give him the dhup, the incense. So again, covering our mouth and nose, and with our right hand offering the incense. Vanaspati rasodbhuto gandhadyo gandha uttamam adryam sarvadevanam dhupoyam pratigruhyatam Lakshmanabhyam namah dhupam drapayami. Now we're going to show him the lamp. So again, covering our eyes. Sajyam chavarti sanyuktam yoginam yojitam mayam deepam gruhana devesham trilokyam timirapaha om Lakshmanabhyam namah deepam darshayami. Now the naivedyam. So you have the prasad in front of you. So take a little bit of the prasad, the cooked food, and offer that. Sharkara khanda khadyadi dadikshira drutani cha ahara bhaksha bhocham cha naivedyam pratiguratam Lakshmanabhyam namah naivedyam nivedayami. And now we're going to put 3 spoonfuls of water. Just like we need to drink water with eating, we offer that for him. Om Uttaraposhnam samarpayami, hasta prakshalanam samarpayami, mukha prakshalanam samarpayami. Now you should have a betel nut leaf. If you don't have it, take some rice grains and offer that as mukhvas. Pungifalam mahadivyam nagavalli daleyutam eladi churna sanyuktam tambulam pratiguratam Lakshmanabhyam namaham tambul pungifalan samarpayami. Very good. Now you should have some fruits in front of you. Take one of the fruits and offer it. Idam phalam maya deva sthapitam purastava tena me safala vyaptir bhaver janmani janmani om Shri Lakshmanabhyam namaha Shri phalam samarpayami. Now dakshinam. If you have some spare change, you can put that. If you don't, then some rice grains. Hiranya garbha garbhastham hema bijam vibhavaso anandam punyam phaladattam shantihi prayachame om Shri Lakshmanabhyam namaha dakshinam samarpayami. Now we're going to take some some flower petals in our hand. Again, with the middle 2 fingers, we're going to offer an arti, a small arti to Lord Satyanarayan Dev. Chaturvatir samayukta drutena cha supuritam nirajanena santushto bhavatye jagatpate Shri Lakshmanabhyam namaha nirajanam samarpayami. Very good. Now put those flower petals in front of the idol. Now we're going to fold both hands. We're going to put that hand above our head. Now we're going to offer pradakshina. Pradakshina is walking around the idol that we do in some temples. The reason why we do that is we say, just as the earth is going around the sun, Our life is also revolving. May it revolve around divine, around God. That's the idea. So we're going to put our hand above our head, and we're going to go around as if we're walking around the idol. Okay? Yani kani cha papani janmantara kritani cha tani tani vinashanti pradakshinaayam pade pade om Shri Lakshminabhya namah pradakshinam samarpayami. Now prarthana. Keep some flower petals and rice grains in your hand. Yena maya bhakti yuktena patram pushpam phalam jalam niveditam cha naivedyam tana gruhananukampayan mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam janardanam yat pujitam maya deva paripurnam tadastume amogha pundarikaksham rusiha daityasudanam rishikesho jagannatham vagisam vardayakam gunatrayam gunatitam govindam garudadvajam janardanam janatitam janaki vallabham harim pranamami sada bhaktyam narayana mataparam durgame vishame gore shatrubhi parapidite nishkarasya sarveshu yatha nishtha phaleshu cha namani etani samkirtan ipsitam phalamapnuyat Satyanarayanam devam vandeham kamadam prabhu leelaya vitatam vishwam yena tasme namo namaha. Boliye Shri Satyanarayana Deva ki, Shri Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan ki. Offer those flower petals. Now we're going to worship Lord Satyanarayan Dev with many names that he has. We talked about the forms. Like, why do these idols have many forms? They also have many names. And the names also signify different principles or different values. Similarly, Lord Satyanarayan Dev also has many names. So we're going to worship all of those names today and recognize that. So what we need you to do is to take some rice grains and flower petals, mix them in your left hand. And when Namah is chanted, you're going to take few or one of those grains and then offer it to the idol that's in front of you, okay? We're going to do this multiple times. So there's about 20 names or so. So you have to do this 20 times. So make sure you take enough flowers and rice grains in your hand. Is everybody ready? Yeah, I think you all have flowers. Enough flowers? Enough rice grains? Okay, good. Satyanarayana Deva ki. Om Satyadevaya Namaha. Om Satyatmane Namaha. Om Satyanidaye Namaha. Om Satyasankalpaya Namaha. Om Satyadhishaya Namaha. Om Satyarupaya Namaha. Om Satyasevyaya Namaha. Om Satyavarmaya Namaha. Om Satyodaraya Namaha. Om Satyasharaya Namaha. Om Satyakamaya Namaha. Om Satyeshtaya Namaha. Om Satyaparayanaaya Namaha. Om Satyashoryaya Namaha. Om Satyavakshaya Namaha. Om Satyasantushtaya Namaha. Om Satyadevaya Namaha. Om Satyachyutyaya Namaha. Om Satyadharmaya Namaha. Om Satyapurnyaya Namaha. Om Satyaushadaya Namaha. Om Satyanandaya Namaha. Om Satyapurushe Namaha. Om Satyagraharupine Namaha. Om Satyanarayana Swamine Namaha. Om Punyam Punyaham Dirdhamayurastu. Satyanarayana Deva ki. Offer all of the remaining flower petals and rice grains to the idol. So now that concludes the puja, and now we will move towards the katha. So I know you guys have been sitting for a while. If you want to get up and stretch, you can do that at this point. Yes. I'm sorry, say that again. So you can, just like anything else, like any metal that you would clean, you can clean it the same way. You can clean it with water. You mean with the powder and everything that's on there? Yes. After you're done, you can just clean it, or you can wipe it with a clean cloth, and that should be fine. So there are two parts to this Satyanarayan Vrat. The first part is the puja that you all just completed. The second part is the katha, which is the story. And so now we will dive into the story and learn that just a little bit so we can all understand a little bit more in depth what this whole Vrat is all about. Why do we do this? Why is this important? How was the puja so far? Good? Enjoyable? Boring? No? Okay. Good. Thank you. Very good. That's the idea. Okay, so before we begin the Katha, there's few steps that we have to follow. First, Katha is not just a story, but it has a spiritual message. And in order for us to receive that message, we have to create the right environment. So we're going to work on that as a first step. So what does that mean? Again, we're going to start with our Jai Ghosh, and then we're going to chant the name of God for a few minutes so that all of our environment is pure before we begin the Katha. Okay? So, let's begin. Again, we start with invoking the four actually, divine energies that help and guides us through our life. First is Lord Ganesh, again, for all the things that we talked about. Then our Gurudev, the one who teaches us. Then is Goddess Saraswati for giving us this speech and ability to speak and understand. And then Lord Shiva for teaching us to be selfless in life. Swaste Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namah Parvati Pataya Hara Hara Mahadeva Hara. Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Govinda Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo. Radha Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Govinda Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Govinda Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo. Radha Govinda bolo Hari Gopal bolo. 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo. Shriman Narayana 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 Shriman Bhajman Narayana, 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 Bhajman Lakshmi Narayana, 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 Lakshmi Nar Narayana, 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 Nar Surya Narayana, 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 Surya Satya Narayana, 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 Satya 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 Shriman Narayana, 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 Shriman Satyanarayana Devaki Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan ki Iti Shri Satyanarayana Kathaya Prathamo Adhyayah Ekada Naimisharanye Rishaya Sonakadayah Prapachu Munayah Sarve Sutam Pauranikam Khalum. The first verse of Satyanarayan Katha. Let's understand that. Ekada, once upon a time, Naimisharanye, in the forest of Naimisharanya, Rishayaha Sonakadaya, 1,000 rishis, such as Sonak, had gathered. Prapachur, they started to ask a question. Munayaha, Sarve, all the munis started to ask a question. Sutam, of a sage called Sutaji, Pauranikam Khaluhu, a knower of the Puranas. Purans, so you have to know how many scriptures we have in Hinduism. So do you guys know? So in Christianity, there's one scripture, right? What is it called? The Bible. In Hinduism, how many scriptures do we have? We have 4 Vedas, right? Vedas are our core. Then we have Upanishads, 18 Upanishads. We have 108 Puranas. And we have over 500 Aranyakas. Aranyakas are lectures. We are a wealth of knowledge and wisdom in Hinduism. So this Sutam Pauranikam Khulum is a Sutaji who is knower of the Puranas. Now, why is this verse important? So first, let's talk about why do we do kathas? Why do we talk about God? Why do we do this? The stories, all of these stories about God, why do we talk about that? Why is that important? Why are stories important to us in life? If I tell you that there's a principle that you must observe, that you must be truthful, and if I tell you that you must be truthful in life, you must be truthful in life, and hone that as a principle in your life, it's very difficult to accept that principle without some context. What stories do, it gives us context. All of these stories were created by who? The Puranas were written by who? They were actually authored and written by one person, Vedavyas. Puranas are written in a language called Samadhi Bhasha. That means Vedavyas didn't write them, but who did? Do you guys know? Who's the actual writer of the Vedas? The author is Vedavyas. So Vedavyas goes to Lord Sage Narad and says, I want to leave something for humanity as a legacy. I want to give them something. The problem is Kali Yuga is coming, and in Kali Yuga, the human beings will not have the intellect to understand the Vedas. The Vedas are full of such depth, such spiritual knowledge, that to digest that will be very difficult. So I want to create some texts that will allow people to understand the principles of the Vedas. But what I need is help, because the way I think about this, I need to go into meditation and think about how I'm going to do this in meditation. But I need somebody to transcribe it as I'm speaking or as I'm saying it. Who could be a great transcriptor? Who could transcribe? Who's quick enough, who's witted enough and smart enough that he can do this? While I'm saying, he can write it down that quickly. Who knows shorthand that he can write it so quickly? And only one name came to mind, right? And who was that? Lord Ganesh. So Vedavyas is meditating and speaking the verses, and Lord Ganesh is transcribing them. This is how our Puranas were created. It's very important to understand that this is a Samadhi Bhasha. What Vedavyas has done for us is taken the principle of Vedas and translated them into a story. If we understand the story, then we will absorb the principle. Right? We call that storytelling in our day and world. We have lots of data that we look at, right? How often do you wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning? That's a data set. That's on your Apple Watch. Right? How many hours of sleep do you get at night? That's a data set. That's in your Apple Watch. But what if we were to tell a story around it? That is more powerful than that number. Now you say, I get 8.5 hours of sleep every night. But what's the story behind that? And if you were to able to translate that into a story, that becomes very meaningful, why sleep is important, right? So this is why stories were created in the Puranas, to help us understand these principles. One such story is this Satyanarayan Katha. So now let's dive into it. The first verse that I translated for you starts out as once upon a time. Now why is this the way that all stories should begin? So this was a time before that I can ignore and not forget about? This is history? It's not real? Actually, no. What this first verse tells us is how do we benefit from this katha? What do we need? What are the requirements? So, ekada naimisharanye, once upon a time in the forest of Naimisharanya. So if you want to understand our scriptures and Satyanarayan Katha, first and foremost, you have to be in the forest Naimisharanya. So what does this mean? Physically in the forest? No. So there's a story behind that. Once upon a time, the 1,000 rishis gathered and said, we want to go and we want to hear all the scriptures and the knowledge of the scriptures. So can you suggest a place, Lord Brahma? They went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma says, your biggest barrier in doing this work is your mind. Because your mind wanders. Even if you're sitting in a forest, your mind will hop on a plane and go to India. Your mind will hop on a plane and go to your daughter's place, or your son's place, or your brother's place, or your cousin's place, right? It is that agitated that it can jump around from one thought to the next. So, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you this discus that's called the Manas Chakra. And wherever this discus stops spinning, that is the place where you should do your katha. So the rishis take this discus and go around all over the earth. And they come upon this forest, and the discus stops. Because in Nimesh, means in the entire universe, the discus stopped here. That forest was called Naimisharanya. What does this mean for us? It means when you listen to these kathas and these stories, sit in a place where our Manas Chakra stops spinning. Allows us to focus and listen. Empty your mind of all those thoughts and distractions. That is the place. And that is the place when we listen to the katha, it benefits us. Second, who should be the audience for the katha? Rushaya Sonakadaya. Sonak Adi Rushi. Now, Sonak ji has a special property. The special property that Sonak ji has is that he's very curious. He's asking very thoughtful questions. Be introspective. Ask questions. Don't accept things if they don't sit well in our mind. That's the second requirement for those who are listening to the Katha. And then he says, in the third qualification, who should say it? Who should recite it? Sutam Pauranikam Kulum. The one who has churned the knowledge of the Vedas and the scriptures. Hearing from such person can help us understand the meaning of this Katha. When we have these three requirements met, that's when we can benefit from this Katha. None of these three requirements meet us every time we do Katha, and this is why we're not benefiting from it. We have read this so many times. We know it by heart. We have heard this Katha so many times. We know every single character in the Katha. Yet it doesn't help us or benefit us. Why? It's because these three basic requirements are not met. This is why this is the first verse in this Katha. Meet this requirement first. Then you will understand the Katha and how to live the life that it's teaching us, how to benefit the best way possible. So, what happens next? Sutaji now is being asked a question by Shaunakadi Rishis. They said, Munivar, dear Guru, you have read all the Puranas and all the Vedas. Can you give us the summary, the essence of all of that, so that we can take something very simple and take it back into our practice? What can we do from all of those scriptures and all of those stories? What is a simple thing that we can do? Not complicated. It can't be like Ashwamedha Yajna, which involves a lot of preparation and work. It's got to be something simple that we can do day in and day out. Can you tell us what that is? Sutaji says, I'm reminded of a story that I'm going to tell you. That once upon a time, Sage Narad had a similar question for Lord Narayan. And now let me tell you that story. Again, this is the beauty of our scriptures. When you read these stories, when you read Bhagavad Puran, all of these Puranas, you'll see that there's a first story, second story, third story. Why do we do that? Why is that done? To demonstrate humility. Did you know that in the entire Puranas, 108 texts that Vedas has written, there's not a single name of him in those Vedas, in those Puranas? Because we don't believe in that. Right? Spirituality is not about credit and fame. Spirituality is about uplifting everyone. Okay? So that's what this story is about. So Sutaji says, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, Sage Narad went to Lord Narayan. He came upon earth to look at the status and position of the people. And while he was here, he saw that people were suffering from their karmic actions, and he was very disturbed. So he went to Lord Narayan, his Ishtadev, his worship god, in search for a solution. So first he goes to Lord Vaikunt, and he doesn't see Lord Narayan, so he closes his eyes and he prays. And he asks to be given this grace of his darshan. Lord Narayan appears before him and is very benevolent. He sees Lord Narayan, he gets lost in the thought, in the beauty of Lord Narayan. This vast form that looks like the sky with 4 arms, with Shankha Chakra and Gada in one hand. And what do each represent, right? Shankha represents what? Wisdom. Chakra represents time. Gada represents justice. And Padma, flower, lotus, represents separation. Just as a lotus grows out of the mud, but is not touched by the mud. So the one who takes care of the entire samsara, but is not wetted by the sansar, that is what he represents. So seeing this beautiful image, Lord Narad was completely lost. Sage Narad was lost. So then Lord Vishnu speaks to him and says, hey, Sage Narad, good to see you. Why are you here? Sage Narad says, oh, now I remember. Thank you for reminding me. He says, I've gone to earth and I saw that people are suffering. They're in so much pain. And they're not breaking out of this karmic cycle. They finish their karmic cycle and they're thereby creating more and more karma. So I'm worried about them. Can you give me something that I can take to them that will alleviate them from the suffering? Lord Vishnu says, this is one of the reasons why I gave you darshan today. Right? I gave you darshan because you came here not for your benefit. You came here for the benefit of others. Now think about this. When we come to the temple, what do we ask for? Give me protection, give me money, give me wealth, give me prosperity, right? Us, me. Look at Sage Narad. When he goes to the Lord, what does he ask for? For others. Right? When you pray for others, God helps us in our mission. Okay? That's the message. So, Lord Narayan was very pleased. And he says, there's only one solution that I see. The reason why people are suffering is because they have strayed away from the path of truth. Being truthful. Now, what does this mean, being truthful? So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Samam Kaya Shiro Grivaha. The best of the best yogis have this alignment. Samam Kaya. Samam means alignment in single line. Kaya, their body. Shiro, their head. And their griva, their throat. What does this mean? Kaya, actions. Shiro, thoughts. Griva, speech. Being truthful in all three is Satya. We are malaligned in all three. We act different than we think. We think different than we speak. And certainly we speak different than we act. And that is the root cause of our karmic balance. When you act differently than you think, can you ever rest? You lose your sleep at night. When you think differently than you speak, you cannot appreciate yourself. You have no identity. Because you are different than what your thoughts are. All the root causes of mental illness comes from this mismatch. So Lord Satyanarayan Dev tells Narad that alignment of these three is the path of truth. And anyone who follows that will be liberated from this cycle of birth and rebirth, from this karmic bondage and suffering. Oh, Lord Narad is Sage Narad is very intrigued. He says, oh wow, this is very interesting. I want to learn more. So, here we'll end the first chapter and then we'll go on to the next chapter. Iti Shri Skanda Purane Reva Khande Satyanarayan Kathayam Prathamodhyaya Samapta Boliye Shri Satyanarayana Deva Ki Jai. So now you guys should have some flower petals and rice grains in your plate. So take some hand, and 3 times we are going to offer that to the image of Lord Satyanarayan Dev in front of us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dvitiyo Adhyayah. Sutta Uvacha. Athanyatvat Sava Prakshami Krutam Yena Puradvijah Kanchit Kashi Pure Ramye Yasita Viproti Nirdhanaha. Now he says, let me tell you a story that once, what happened next is when Narad Muni asked this question of Lord Narayan said, let me tell you the story of how this came into being, into the earth. So Sutji says, let me tell you the story, that once upon a time, there was a Brahman by the name of Shatanand, who was very poor, and was going from home to home begging for food. And one day, he was so agitated that he did not get any food at all. And so late into the night, he was very desperate for finding some meal for him and his family. And so he was very destitute, he was very sad. And at that point, the one who loves the Brahmanas, because they do such a great duty of spreading knowledge and wisdom and spirituality throughout our community, Lord Satyanarayan, they wanted to grace him and wanted to give him blessings. And so took the form of an old Brahman and came to Satanand and said, "What's going on? Why are you so disturbed? What's the matter?" Satanand said, I'm very sad because I'm very poor and I don't have wealth, I don't have food to put on the table for my family. And I feel very bad about myself that I have not been successful in life. At that point, the old Brahman says, and then he says, "Do you have some solution, something I can do to turn this situation around? This is very disturbing for me. It keeps me away from being spiritually uplifted because that's all I keep thinking about. I think about myself as a failure. So how can I turn this around?" This old Brahman says, "There's one thing you can do." He says, "You can follow the path of truth. Embrace truth in everything that you do, in every action. Be aligned with your mind, your thoughts. Understand who you are as a soul. And focus on service as your goal and your objective, not on getting anything in return." Satanand was very pleased by the words of this old Brahman. So he decides to go home and he says, "I will do the vrat as he said. I will start watching this step. I will start following the path of truth." The next morning he wakes up with a lot of energy in his heart and he says, "I'm going to follow this path of truth." He goes into the town and he starts spreading the spiritual knowledge, things that he knew. Not only is he starting to spread it, but teach it to others. Right? Oftentimes, if we know something as a secret, what do? Do we share it? No, we keep it, right? But that's not what Satanand did. In the path of truth and spirituality, you spread it. And he started to spread it. That goodwill got him a lot of positive energy all around. And so it is said in the story that day he earned twice what he would normally earn. And then he decided that he would celebrate this vrat of Lord Satyanarayan Dev and do puja and ground himself in the principle of truthfulness. So that evening, he gathered his family and friends. He did the puja of Lord Satyanarayan Dev and then started to recite the stories of Lord Satyanarayan Dev and his grace. At that time, there was a woodcutter who was very, very thirsty, who had gone in, and again, same situation as Satanand, who was very, very sad, who was very disheartened that all of his hard work is going to waste and he wasn't earning anything. And so he comes upon this Brahman's place. Satanand immediately caters to him, gives him water to drink, sets him down, and allows him to participate in the puja and the Katha. This woodcutter finds such rest and such peace that he decides that tomorrow, whatever I sell, whatever money I make, I will use it for the betterment of society, for this path of truth. The next day, he earns a lot of money. He gets more than what he actually is worth. And he decides to again celebrate this vrat, gathering his family and friends, spreading the knowledge and wisdom of this Katha and this vrat. There are a few things to learn from this story. First and foremost, Satanand's example, that he didn't keep this to himself. When he benefited something, he shared it with others. We should follow that principle in our life in order to uplift ourselves, a better version of ourselves. Remember our determination? A better part of ourselves. So ask ourselves that question. Is there something that we know that we could share that would benefit everybody around us? And if there is, let's share it. It could be a good recipe that you have. It could be a good knowledge or a piece of spirituality, a good lecture that you heard, right? A good book that you read. But sharing will not take away your knowledge or what you have earned. It will only help you grow. And that's the key. Nothing of Satanand was taken away by this woodcutter. But his benefit left a positive thought in his heart for Satanand. Not only did Satanand change the woodcutter's life, well, what else did he do? He inspired him to share it with others. Right? That's what we should do. That's why we do these rituals, these pujas, these celebrations. It's not just to gloat about what we have earned or what we have achieved, but it's to share that, share the knowledge, share the wisdom, share the how with others. And when we can do that, now we have inspired others to do the same. Yeah. Yeah. We are stuck in this mode that if someone gets my recipe, that recipe is the secret to my success. And I feel if someone gets the recipe, they're going to steal my business away. Yeah. Yeah. You have a pizza place and you make pizza sauce. You may not want to share that recipe, right? You think that's your secret sauce or your secret recipe. In reality, that is not the only thing that makes you successful in life. And in fact, when you share it, you actually are more successful, believe it or not. When you share it, you earn more respect for who you are as a person, as a business. So this secrecy that we have, this capitalism has ingrained that in our mind, is actually not what our scriptures tell us. Our scriptures tell us that there comes a point when you need to think about benefit of everyone. Now, pizza sauce is a small example, but let's say that pizza sauce was so magical that it could cure some illness, right? What do we do today? We get a patent on it, we brand it, and then we charge a whole lot of money for it, right? That is the capitalism market. What our scriptures say is that don't do that. That may give you material gain, but that's not a good legacy that you leave behind. What that does, it creates a selfish drive in the community. And so if you truly want to help everybody, then open up the doors, share it with everyone. And certainly, when it comes to spirituality, we should never be holding back. If there's a secret mantra that you learned that uplifts you, you should never share it back. There's a beautiful, if you know, there was an incarnation of Lord Krishna in in Kali Yuga, in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was born in the east coast of India, in the eastern part of India. And Mayapuri was the town where he was born. He, from his Guruji, learned a mantra. His Guruji one day invited him into the room and said, I'm going to give you a mantra that's going to give you immense happiness. This mantra is so powerful that if you chant it, you will be so happy in your life. This will give you unbelievable happiness. No matter what worries you have, you'll be happy. And he gives him this mantra. This mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He gives him this mantra and says, chant this. Do you know what the first thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? He came out in the middle of the crowd and he started chanting the mantra out loud. He says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Everyone started chanting the mantra with him. And everyone was so pleased. Everyone was so happy. So his Guruji gets mad. He says, what did you do? This was a secret mantra. I gave this to you because you deserved it. You were so disciplined. This is why I gave it to you. He says, you know what? Why limit this happiness to me? If this can benefit the world, I want to spread it to the whole world. That is the light. That is the thinking that uplifts us and the world. So in spirituality, we should absolutely observe that. This is what the Shatanan's example teaches us. Same thing with the woodcutter. The woodcutter teaches us that in our life, whether we're small or large, whether we earn little or more, think about giving back at every point. Don't hold this to ourselves. Think about giving back. Put a portion out that we can give back every single year, every single month if you can. This giving back is an important way that we take care of everyone and inspire everybody around us. So, that's the second chapter. Iti si Skanda Purane Reva Khande Satyanarayan Katham Dvitiyo Adhyaya Samapta Shri Satyanarayana Deva Ki Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan Ki. Okay, take some flower petals and rice grains and 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tritiyo Adhyaya Sutta Uvacha punaragre pravakshyami shrunudvam muni sattama pura cholka mukho namam nrupasvasin mahipatihi. He says, now let me tell you the next story, Sutaji says. Let me tell you how this also got propagated further. So this story and this katha, this rat, started to pass on from one person to the next. And ultimately it got to this king whose name was Ulkamukh. And once upon a time, he was sitting at the banks of Bhadrashila River, and he was determined to do this, follow this path of truthfulness. And he was following this truthfulness path and aligning himself and doing this immense celebration of Satyanarayan Dev and Vrat Katha. And there was a businessman by the name of Sutta, Sadhu, who came there and said, what is this king doing? He was very impressed that this king, who's very wealthy and well-known, very famous, is doing something very important. So he decided to sit down and learn what the king was doing and kind of watch and observe. After the ceremony was done, the puja was done, he went up to the king and said, oh, I'm very impressed, king. You are so gracious, and you've taken time out from your busy schedule to do this puja. I'm very impressed. Why is this so important? And this Ulkamukh Raja says, let me tell you that this is the path of spiritual awakening. This is the path of truthfulness that can give you whatever desires you have, whatever desires you want to fulfill, it can give you. It can even give you progeny. It can give you sons and daughters, whatever you like. Whatever your wishes are in this life, it will fulfill your desires. Sadhu was very impressed. He goes to the king and says, wow, that's amazing. He says, well, I'm lacking, any child right now, and I'm looking for maybe a solution. So this sounds very important to me. Maybe I'll try this. I'll practice this. So he learns all the instruments and elements of this vrat and how to follow this. And he goes home and he tells his wife, whose name is Lilavati, that there's this beautiful vrat that I saw, which is following this path of truth. It is spiritual awakening, uplifting, making myself better than who I am. And I want to do this. I want to follow this path. And I promise that if I have a child, I will absolutely do this. So with the blessings of God, a few days later, his wife conceived and had a daughter. Her name was Kalavati. And at that time, after the birth of the daughter, Lilavati reminds Sadhu, hey, you were going to follow this vrat and follow this path of truth. He says, now I have a responsibility of a daughter. The daughter needs to grow up. I need to educate her. And then I need to get her married. It's a lot of expense. My business is all about not being truthful, right? I need to sell things. In order to sell, sometimes I have to deceive. I have to speak untruth. And so I can't follow this vrat right now, but when she is married and my obligations are over, I will follow this path. So, okay. Little by little, the girl, Kalavati, grows up, becomes older, and is now ready for marriage. So he invites a matchmaker to find a husband for her. Matchmaker goes to the next town over, and then finds a groom who beautiful wedding takes place with a lot of expense and extravagance. Sadhu conducts the wedding of his daughter. Kalavati gets married, and now, at that time, he forgets this vrat and doing this vrat. But now he has another responsibility. Now he wants to settle his son-in-law so that he could take the responsibility of the family. And so he takes his son-in-law and goes to the next town for doing business. In the next town over, by the name of Ratnapuri, he is there doing his business. On the other side, thieves have stolen some items from the king. The king's name is Chandraketu. And those stolen items, they're running away from the police, right? The warriors and the guards of the king. The guards are following those thieves. The thieves come upon where this sadhu and his son-in-law had been staying. And out of fear, they leave all of the stolen items there and they run away. The guards come upon the sadhu and son-in-law and then see that the stolen items are there. Without hearing any word, they handcuff them and they take them to the king. The king is so angry that he has thieves in his kingdom, and seeing that these are outsiders who have come in, he doesn't even listen to their concerns and immediately orders that they be put in prison. And takes away all of the wealth that they had brought here to sell. So they lose everything that they have and they end up in prison. Sadhu at this point is very sad and upset. On the other hand, other thieves now attack the home of Lilavati and Kalavati, steal everything that they have, and now they're left with nothing. They've lost everything from their home. They're begging from home to home in order to survive. Horrible situation. They had so much wealth, so much prosperity, and everything was gone in a second. So Sadhu is very sad. On one hand, he's thinking about his life. What mistakes has he made? Why has this horrible calamity fallen upon him? What karmic actions has he done to give this result? He's very sad. One day, while Kalavati is going from home to home begging for food, he comes upon the Shatananda Brahman who is doing this vrat of Satyanarayan Dev. Again, just like the woodcutter, she finds immense peace in his home. So she asks to sit down and listens to the Katha. She's very moved. Shatanand afterwards offers the prasad to her. She eats the prasad and says, "Can I ask you a question? I want to learn more about what you just did." Shatanand says, "Gladly, let me tell you. This is the Satyanarayan Vrat. It's such peace-giving, and it gives you everything that you desire. It will fulfill all your wishes." Kalavati is very pleased. She goes home. She arrives home late, so mom is worried. Lilavati says pleasantly, "Kalavati, where have you been? I was worried sick about you." Kalavati says, "I was in this beautiful place. I went to this Brahman's home, and he was doing this beautiful vrat of Lord Satyanarayan Dev and following this path of truth." Immediately, Lilavati remembers her husband's promise. She immediately takes a spoonful of water in her hand, makes a determination that I will follow this path of truth, and I will make sure that we fulfill our promise of following this path of truth. And appeals to Lord Satyanarayan Dev again and again, "Please forgive our mistakes. Forgive our fact that we forgot this very important task in life in uplifting ourselves." Lord Satyanarayan Dev is very pleased and comes in the dreams of King Chandraketu and says, "You have put my disciples into prison. Get them out." The next morning, King Chandraketu discusses his dream with his sabha, with his court, and they all agree that they should have given him a fair hearing. So they invite Sadhu Vanya, allow him to say. He says his story, that he was sleeping at night, that he's come from another town, and he has immense wealth. So why would he have any need to steal the wealth of the king? And what was stolen was very small and minuscule compared to what he had already. All of those reasons made sense to Chandraketu Raja. And Chandraketu Raja forgives him, gives him all of his wealth back, and gives him more. And says, "Go back and return to your state." He's very pleased. And immediately he appreciates and accepts the fact that this must have been the forgotten vrat of Lord Satyanarayan Dev. And he immediately vows that as soon as he gets home, he'll complete this puja and this vrat. Now he goes into his ship. I think we'll end the third chapter here, and then we'll go to the fourth chapter. Iti Shri Skanda Purane Revakhande Satyanarayan Vrat Katham Trutiyodhyaya Samaptasi Satyanarayana Deva Ki Jai. Again, take some flower petals and rice grains, and 3 times we're going to offer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chaturtho Adhyaya Sutavacha Yatram tu Krutvan Sadhu Mangalachara Purvikam Brahmanebhyo Dhanam Dattva Tadatu Nagaram Yayo. Now, I know you guys have a lot of questions, but let me finish the story of Sutaji and then Sadhu, and then I'll explain the elements of the spiritual elements of the story and what do we need to understand. So now, Sadhu now goes to his ship, and he's about to embark with all of the wealth that he has in his ship, in his boat. And there, Satyanarayan Dev decides to take an exam, right? See how well has he learned his lesson. So comes to him in the form of a sadhu, of a saint, and says, hey, can you give me a ride in your boat? What's in your boat? It looks pretty heavy. Can it handle one more person being in the boat with all your crew? Sadhu is worried. He says, if I tell this sannyasi that I have all this wealth in my boat, he's going to ask me for a donation. Right? So he says, nothing. All I've got is some leaves and some veils. That's all I have in my boat. Nothing else. Nothing to see here. Right? So the sadhu, knowing the truth, obviously says, so be it. Let it be. And then all of that wealth, the boat starts to come float. And all of the wealth becomes leaves and veils. Now, sadhu is troubled. He falls to the ground unconscious. His son-in-law wakes him up and says, don't worry, this is a chamatkar, right? This is a magic, and whoever did the magic, I'm sure can reverse it. So let's go to that sadhu who was here, and let's ask him, see if he can reverse this for us. So he goes, sadhu and the son-in-law go to the sadhu, the sage and the saint, and prostrate down to him and says, please forgive us. We made a big mistake. We told you the untruth. It's actually wealth that was in my boat, and now it's all turned into veins and leaves. Can you please turn it back? This is the Maya of Lord Satyanarayan Dev, and nothing else could actually do this magic. Please forgive us, and he prostrates multiple times. Finally, with his tears in his eyes, Lord Satyanarayan Dev forgives him, turns it back into his wealth, and gives him a message. Says, don't make this mistake again. Remember, your true wealth in life is your spirituality. So uplift yourself and make sure that you spread that message all around. He says, absolutely, I learned my lesson. And then he decides to go home. On the other hand, Kalavati and Lilavati are both doing Satyanarayan Dev's Vrat at their home. As soon as the boat comes, Sadhu sends messengers to the town to inform them that their husband and son-in-law are coming into town. Lilavati and Kalavati are about to finish the puja. Lilavati finishes the puja, takes the prasad, and goes to see her husband and receive her son-in-law, and says, you do the same, Kalavati, finish your puja and come quickly. So Kalavati, in a haste, finishes the puja and forgets to take the prasad and goes to the shore. When she arrives to the shore, the ship containing her husband disappears, is no longer there. She laments and she's crying vigorously that she's just lost her husband who was just in sight. And she decides to end her life as well. Seeing this, the sadhu, Vanyo, is very disturbed. And he says, no, this cannot be happening. After all the trouble and tribulations we went to, after all the commitments I made, how could this happen? This could only be the grace and maya of Lord Satyanarayan Dev, illusion of Lord Satyanarayan Dev. And he again and again prostrates and cries out to the God to help him. Seeing his devotion, there is a voice that comes from the sky and says, your daughter missed the prasad. If she goes back and eats the prasad and comes back, she will find her husband. Kalavati hears this and immediately goes back, finishes the puja, eats the prasad, comes back and finds her husband with the boat and the wealth. They all greet each other, go together to the home and celebrate together. And for years and ages to come, Sadhu never ever forgot the importance of his spiritual awakening, the importance of alignment, of truthfulness in his life. Now this is the story. Now let's break it down and understand what this means. So first of all, you heard the first story of Shatananda Brahman, which gives priest class the ability and authority to do Satyanarayan Vrat and Puja. Second, you heard the woodcutter story. Woodcutter is the Shudra class, which gives them the authority and ability to do the puja. The third story, and Vyasaji took 2 chapters for Vaniya class, for the businessmen, because businessmen are very transactional, right? Spirituality is very transactional for all of us. Why do we come to the temple? Because we want something in return. Why do we pursue path of spirituality? Because we want something. Why do we chant the Mara of Lord's name? Because we want something in return. We are transactional, just like sadhu. The problem with transactional is that it only leads to pain and suffering. Transactional wealth is not true wealth. When you meet the right guru in your life, they will help us realize that all the transactional stuff we have collected is nothing but veins and leaves. They are nothing but to leave behind. That is not coming with us. They teach us the path to earn true wealth. All right, I'll ask you guys a question. You're going on a vacation, and you're packing your bags for the vacation. What are you going to pack with you? Are you going to pack things that you need or things that you don't need? Things that you need, right? So think about this. When we go on vacation, we always pack things that we need. Yet in this life, we continue to pack things that are never coming with us. Right? Are we going to take the house with us when we leave this earth, when we die? How about the money? How about the clothes? How about the degrees? How about the cars? Nothing. Nothing comes with us. What do we take with us? The legacy that you leave behind. The inspiration that you leave behind. Someone who's going to say that Grishma was a great person. Or Jalpa was a great person. That is what we leave behind. That inspiration. That is what we should work for. That is our true wealth in life. A guru will help us see that. This is what happened to sadhu. And once that happens, now your spiritual awakening never goes away. There's one other mistake that we make in this transaction. In this transaction, even though it's transaction, right? You come here and you say, Bhagwan, give me my first $100,000 and I'll go back to India. No one has gone back. But after you earn that first 100,000, what do you say? Who made that money? Did Bhagwan give me this? Nope. I did it. This is what Kalavati did. Right? When she saw her husband, it wasn't the glory of Bhagwan. It wasn't seen as prasad, that this was a gift to me. What does she see? Look how smart my husband and my father are. Right? They've earned so much wealth. Right? That ego is what Lord Satyanarayan Dev says you need to give up at the end. See everything as prasad. We all say that we work hard for what we get, right? I work hard at my job. That's why I get paid. That's why I get the promotions. There are people who work 10 times harder than us, yet they don't see the same promotion or the same benefit that we do. Why is that? There's a grace behind what we get. That is prasad. That is the true prasad. And when we can feel that, that's when you have such a strong connection with Bhagwan. Right? That's when you feel that prasad, that he's really taking care of me. That is what we want to feel. That is the story of Sadhu, Lilavati, and Kalavati. Okay, now you can ask your question. So remember I told you that Sadhu, the businessman, could not follow the path of truth, right? So what did he do to earn all that wealth? Yes, deceitful. What is the karmic result of being deceitful? If you earn money in the wrong way, what will happen to that money? That will go the wrong way, right? If you deceive somebody and take something that doesn't belong to you, someone else will take something from you that is yours. So this is the karmic balance. You know, if you ever, I know we don't do this. This is why we come to the temple, because we're all spiritual. But think about this. If you were a thief, would you ever want anybody to steal from you? If you're a group of thieves together, right? You are dishonest because you're stealing from somebody. But what do you expect from the people who are partners in this crime with you? Honesty, don't you? Honesty and truthfulness, that's what we expect. So that is our true nature, is that honesty and truthfulness, even when we resort to those bad actions. And so the karmic balance of that is why it happened to them. Make sense? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it sounds like a simple story, and maybe that happens to all of us, where we forget the prasad or we forget to eat the prasad. So the question is, when you forget to eat the prasad, in that moment, what's the story or what's the significance? When you have prasad in your hand, there are two things you have to keep in mind, right? Prasad is not just simple prasad. What is it? Is it your favorite? Is that why it's a prasad? Could it be your unfavorite? Yes. What do? Do you throw it away? You never throw it away, right? You accept it, whatever it is. So prasad has two properties. First of all, it's not only the results of our actions, it's the fruits, but it's also blessings. And you have to take it that way as blessings. And when we don't in life, that's, again, we suffer from pain and suffering, right? When we get the bad prasad that we don't like, we say, oh, this is painful. Right? Karelanu શાક આવે હાથમાં તો ન ગમે સજ્જે, right? આ ક્યાં પ્રસાદ આવ્યો હાથમાં? પછી ગમે ત્યાં ખાઈ જવું પડે, પણ તોય દુઃખ થાય, મોઢું ચડી જાય ને કે આવો પ્રસાદ મળ્યો. So that is the dilemma in our life. So this is what that significance of that moment is, that seeing everything as a blessing, whether it's good or bad. Oftentimes we let go of the good. We say it's my doing, it's not prasad, it's my hard-earned work, right? It's my results. But when it comes to bad, then it's blameful. Why is God doing this to me? Why is this negative thing happening? It's imbalanced. We're a hypocrite. If I'm good is mine, bad is mine as well. And accepting that is prasad. That's what that means. All right. Iti si Skanda Purane Reva Khande Satyanarayan Katham Chaturtiyo Adhyaya Samaptaha. Again, 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Panchamodhyayaha. Sutovacha Athanyascha Pravakshami Shunudam Munisatama Asitam Tungadvajo Raja Prajapalana Tatparam. Now he says, let me tell you a 4th story. Last but not least, there was another king by the name of Tungadvaj who was very generous, but once upon a time he went hunting, and during the hunting there were a group of cowherds who were doing the Satyanarayan Katha and Vrat. So he sat under a tree after being tired all day, and as the Katha was finished, he didn't attend the Katha because he thought were not qualified enough to do puja. And then once they gave him the prasad, he left the prasad there and said this was not worthy of his status, and went home. Because of that, he lost his 100 sons and all of the wealth that he had. He immediately went to his guru, who helped him realize his mistake. He went back to the forest. He did the katha with the cowherds, and then he ultimately gained all of his prosperity back. The 4th story is about the Kshatriya class and giving them the right to be able to do the Satyanarayan Katha. Regardless of your caste, regardless of your status, everybody is entitled to this spiritual awakening. And that's the message of all of these stories together. And that's what they're teaching us. Next, let me tell you what happened. Sutaji says that Shatananda Brahman in the next life was born as Sudama, became friend with Lord Krishna, and attained moksha in his next life. The woodcutter became Gruharaja in his next life, attained moksha by worshipping Lord Ram. The Ulkamukh king, who was worshipping at Bhadrashila river, became King Dashrath in his next life, became the father of Lord Ram, and attained moksha. The sadhu, the businessman, in his next life became King Mordhvaj. And he had one more exam that the Lord asked of him, and asked him for half of his body. And he took an axe and cut half of his body and gave it to the Lord, and attained moksha and liberation. He became very giving in his next life. And then Tungadvaj, the king in the last chapter, became King Manu, who is the father of all humanity. And so even in this life, when we're bound by our karmic actions, in the next life we attain liberation following this path of truth. Iti Shri Skanda Purane Reva Khande Satyanarayan Katham Panchamodhyaya Samapta. Bole Shri Satyanarayana Deva Ki Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan Ki. 3 times again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now we'll do our third and then we'll do our arti. So I do have the third in English for those of you that want to sing along. So now third is the offering of food to Lord Satyanarayan Dev. Now why is food important? We have idols, we know that God is everywhere, then why do we need to offer this third or this food to God? Offering of the food is just like I told you about Mother's Day and Father's Day gift, right? We offer it back, even though this is given to us by God, we offer it back as a thank you, as a gracious gift. And the most important part of the offering is not the food that you made or the food that you offer, but it's the emotions that we pour into that offering. And that emotions is the song that we sing, which is called the third. And so this is why in our culture, in our tradition, every time we offer food to God, we sing third. Third is the emotions that we bring into this. So with that, let's sing our third today, okay? Satyanarayana Deva Ki, Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan Ki, Purushottama Prema Thi Padhar Jore Lol Pur. Purushottama Prema Thi Padhar Jore Lol. Everybody, put your emotions in. Deva Darshanana Dan Maravala. Hitame avi arogo aj maravala. Purushottama prema thi padhar jore lol. आंगणीये तोरण बंधाविया रे लोल. એના સાથે સુગંધી એવા ફૂલ મારા વાલા. પુરુષોત્તમ પ્રેમથી પધાર જોરે લોલ. बहुनामी बाजोठ ढाड़िया रे लोल. बहु मारा अंतर माथा शे आनंद मारा वाला. पुरुषोत्तम प्रेम नानी सेवकनी झूपड़ी रे लोल. તમે વામન નાથા શો વિરાટ મારા વાલા. પુરુષોત્તમ શબરીનો મનખો સુધારિયો રે લોલ. એના એઠા ખાધા તમે બોર મારા વાલા. પુરુષો दूधने शाकरनो शिरो कर्यो रे लोल. तमे भावे जमो भगवान मारा वाला. पुरुष मुख प्रक्षालन कराव सूरे लोल. भरियल जमना जीना नीर मारा वाला. पुरुषो मुखवास लई मंगल करो रे लोल। तमे टाड़ो त्रिविधना ताप मारवाला पुरुषोत्तम। वेदो कहे छे प्रभु न जमे रे लोल। वेद पण साकार जमे जीवराज मारवाला पुरुषोत्तम। Satyanarayan Dev. Okay, let's offer food to Bhagavan. So now imagine as if you're feeding Lord Satyanarayan Dev with your hand. So we're going to keep our left hand covering our mouth and nose. With our right hand, we're going to put all 5 fingers together. And with each one, we're going to offer it to, as if you're putting this handful of food into Lord Satyanarayan Dev's mouth. So close your eyes and offer that. We're going to do it 5 times. Om Pranaya Swaha. Om Apanaya Swaha. Om Samanaya Swaha. Om Udanaya Swaha. Om Vyanaya Swaha. Om Brahmane Swaha. Okay, now 3 times spoonful of water we're going to put in the tray. Om Uttaraposhnam Samarpayami. Hasta Prakshalanam Samarpayami. Mukha Prakshalam Samarpayami. Madhyapaniyam Samarpayami. 5 times again. Om Pranaya Swaha. Om Apanaya Swaha. Om Samanaya Swaha. Om Udanaya Swaha. Om Vyanaya Swaha. Om Brahmane Swaha. Okay, now 3 times again. Water. Om Uttaraposhnam Samarpayami. Hasta Prakshalanam Samarpayami. Mukha Prakshalanam Samarpayami. Bolye Shri Satyanarayana De. Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan. Now we'll do Aarti. You all should have Aarti for Lord Satyanarayan Dev. Om Jaya Kamada Swami Prabhu Jaya Kamada Swami Satyanarayan Swami Satyanarayan Swami Vibhuvar Bahunami Om Jaya Kamada Swami भिन्न भिन्न रूप धरिया भक्तो अभय करवा प्रभु भक्तो अभय करवा प्रताप प्रसर्यो प्रभु तव प्रताप प्रसर्यो प्रभु तव जगनु जय करवा Om Jaya Kamada Swami Sundar Rupa Swarupa Prabhu Amane Pyaru Prabhu Amane Bahu Pyaru Darshan Karvani Te Darshan Karvani Te मन दौड़े मारू ओम जय कमड़ा स्वामी गरुड़ासन पर देव शोभो सुख राशि प्रभु शोभो सुख राशि सहाय सर्वनि करवा सहाय सर्वनि करवा तत्पर अविनाशी ओम जय कमड़ा स्वामी शतानंदनु कार्य प्रेमे पूर्ण कर्यु प्रभु प्रेमे पूर्ण कर्यु धन संपत्ति सगड़ी दई धन संपत्ति विप्रनु कार्य सरयु ओम जय कमल કઠિયારાના નાથ કોડે કષ્ટ હર્યા, પ્રભુ કોડે કષ્ટ હર્યા. દુઃખ દરિદ્ર હટાવી, દુઃખ દરિદ્ર હટાવી, ભીલના ભાગ્ય ફળ્યા. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. ઉલ્કા મુખ મહીપતિની લજ્જાને રાખી, પ્રભુ લજ્જાને ભદ્રશિલાને ભાવે, ભદ્રશિલાને ભાવે, સ્નેહ સાંકળ નાખી. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. સાધુ વર્ણિક શ્રી પૂર તેને બહુતાવ્યો, પ્રભુ તેને બહુતાવ્યો. ભૂલ ભયંકર તેની, ભૂલ ભયંકર તેની, તેથી નવ ફાવ્યો. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. કલાવતીના કષ્ટ ધ્યાન દઈ પ્રીતે, પ્રભુ ધ્યાન દઈ પ્રીતે. લીલાવતીના ભાવે, લીલાવતીના ભાવે, સહાય થયા નિત્યે. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. ગોપમંડળી ઘેર તુંગધ્વજ આવ્યો, પ્રભુ તુંગધ્વજ આવ્યો. પ્રસાદ પડતો મેલ્યો, પ્રસાદ પડતો મેલ્યો, હરિએ લઈતાવ્યો. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. શતપુત્રોનો નાશ થયો અનાદરથી, પ્રભુ થયો અનાદરથી. પ્રસાદ જવ લીધો તવ, પ્રસાદ જવ તવ, શુભ થયું શ્રીવરતી. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. અધમ ઉતારણ નાથ કારણ નિષ્કામી, પ્રભુ કારણ નિષ્કામી. ખલદામી સહુઠામી, ખલદામી સહુઠામી, મતિ ગતિ નવ પામી. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. પ્રેમ થકી જે ભક્ત સત્યનારાયણ સેવે, પ્રભુ સત્યનારાયણ સેવે. શ્રી આયુષ્ય કીર્તિ સુત, શ્રી આયુષ્ય કીર્તિ સુત, જગપતિ સુખદેવે. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. કથા શ્રવણ કરી ભક્ત આરતી ગાશે, પ્રભુ આરતી ગાશે. કૈક જન્મના પાપો, કૈક જન્મના પાપો, પ્રલય તો થાશે. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. શરણાગત શ્રીદેવ સત્યનારાયણજી, પ્રભુ સત્યનારાયણજી. ભક્તો સહુ ગાય છે, ભક્તો સહુ ગાય છે, ભક્તિ ભાવ સજી. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી, જય કમળા સ્વામી, પ્રભુ જય કમળા સ્વામી. સત્યનારાયણ સ્વામી, સત્યનારાયણ સ્વામી, વિભુવર બહુનામી. ઓમ જય કમળા સ્વામી. Now we'll do the main arti.
પૂનમની આરતી આજના રાજભોગના યજમાન જો હાજર હોય તો આરતી માટે પધારશે. પૂનમની આરતી મહેનભાઈ તમે આરતી કરો. અરે હોય અહીંયા આગળ આવતા
પ્રભુ
આગળ આવી બેસો.
તમે એવું તો અહીંયા
હું છું.
ઓકે
અહીંયા મજા આવશે.
ના, ના.
ભાઈ બધાને આરતી પહોંચી ગઈ. બેઠા 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 બેઠા.
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ॐ जय जगदीश हरे
जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख विनिस विषय विकार विचाओ पाप हरो देवा
स्वामी काष्ट हरो देवा
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ
श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ
संतन की सेवा
ओम जय जगदीश हरे तन मन धन सब है तेरा
स्वामी सब कुछ है तेरा
तेरा तुझको अर्पण तेरा तुझको अर्पण प्यारा दे मेरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जय आद्या शक्ति माँ जय आद्या शक्ति अखंड ब्रह्मांड विभाग्या अखंड ब्रह्मांड विभाग्या पढ़वे पंडित माँ ओम जयो जयो माँ जगदम्बे तृतीया वेद स्वरूप शिव शक्ति जानो माँ शिव शक्ति जानो ब्रह्मा गणपति गाओ ब्रह्मा गणपति गाओ हर माँ ओम जयो जयो माँ जगदम्बे तृतीया कौन स्वरूप त्रिभुवन माँ बैठा माँ त्रिभुवन माँ बैठा दया की कर दे दया की कर दे तू कर दे माँ ओम जयो जयो माँ जगदम्बे चौरे चतुरा महालक्ष्मी माँ सचराचर व्याप्या माँ सचराचर व्याप्या चार भुजा चौदिशा चार भुजा चौदिशा प्रगट्या दक्षिण माँ ओम जयो जयो माँ जगदम्बे
भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरि। सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते।
ॐ जलेन शीतलीकृत्य
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ विष्णवे नमः ॐ विष्णवे नमः ॐ विष्णवे नमः। ॐ विश्वतः सचक्षुरुत विश्वतो मुखो विश्वतो बाहुरुत विश्वतस्पातः सम्बाहुभ्यां धम इति सम्पत्रैधोर्वा भूमि जनयन देव एकः। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्ष गौः शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिराप शान्तिः औषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिः विश्वदेवाः शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुण शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सा मा शान्तिरेधि। करारविन्दे अपरारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुरेशयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि। श्री कृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारी नारायण वासुदेव जीवे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति विद्वेतु कामां किल गोपकन्या मुरारी।
We are not done yet, so give it. There's a little bit left to do before we finish off the movie.
गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति
गृहे गृहे गोपवधूकदम्बा सर्वे मिलित्वा समवाप्ययोगं पुण्यानि नामानि पठन्ति नित्यं गोविन्द दामोदर ददामोदरमाधवेति सुखं शयाना निलये निजेति नामानि विष्णोर्प्रवदन्ति मर्त्या तेनीश्चितं तन्मयतां व्रजन्ति गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति जिह्वे सदैवं भज सुन्दराणि नामानि कृष्णस्य मनोहराणि समस्तभक्तार्तिविनाशनानि गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति सुखावसाने इदमेव सारं दुःखावसाने इदमेव ज्ञेयं देहावसाने इदमेव चाप्यं गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति श्रीकृष्ण राधा वर गोकुलेश गोपाल गोवर्धननाथ विष्णु जीवमेपि भस्मामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति जिह्वे रसग्ने मधुरप्रियात्वं सत्यं हितं त्वां परमं वदामि आवाहयेथा मधुराक्षराणि गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति त्वामेव याचे मम देहि जिह्वे समागते दण्डधरे कृतान्ते वक्तव्यमेव मधुरं सुभक्त्या गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति अग्रे करुणामत्रपाण्डवानां दोषासनीना हतवस्त्रकेशा कृष्णात्तदाक्रोशदन्यनाथ गोविन्द दामोदरमाधवेति
गोविंद माधव स्तोत्र प्रेमथी पाठ जे करे दामोदर दया ध्याने सहजे गोलोक संचरे कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं
हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं
चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुरो पाणिर्मधुरपादौ मधुरो
नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भूतं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं
रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं करणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं
वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं
कमलं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरं युक्तं मधुरं गुप्तं मधुरं
दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरं यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा
दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम् गोविन्दं गोकुलानन्दं वेणुवादनतत्परं राधिकारञ्जनं श्यामं वन्दे गोपालनन्दनं वन्दे गोपालनन्दनं वन्दे गोपालनन्दनं वामे यस्य स्थिता राधा श्रीश्वयस्यास्ति वक्षसि वृन्दावनविहारं तं श्रीकृष्णं हृदि चिन्तये श्रीकृष्णं हृदि चिन्तये श्रीकृष्णं हृदि चिन्तये गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्यजम्बूफलचारुभक्षणम् उमासुतं विघ्नविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपात्रपङ्कजम्
मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये
नमः सवित्रे जगदेकचक्षुषे जगत्प्रसूति स्थितिनाशहेतवे त्रयीमयायाति गुणात्मधारिणे विरञ्चि नारायण शङ्करात्मने नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणौ महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम् ज्ञानिनामपि चेतांसि देवी भगवती हि सा बलादाकृष्यमोहाय महामाया प्रयच्छति दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेषजन्तु स्वस्ते स्मृता मतिमतीव शुभां ददासि दारिद्र्यदुःखभयहारिणि का त्वदन्या सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदाग्रचित्ता सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शक्ति समन्विते भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोस्तुते रोगान् शेषानपहंसि तुष्टा पृष्टा तु कामान् सकलान् भीष्टान् त्वमाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणां त्वमाश्रिता रक्षतां प्रयन्ति सर्वबाधप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरीविनाशनम्
गजानन गणपति महाराज की जय।
सूर्य नारायण देव की जय।
पवन सुत हनुमान
की जय।
आद्य शक्ति अम्बे मात
की जय।
राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
बाल कृष्ण लाल की जय। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हर हर।
Okay, we have a little bit of puja left, so if you can please take your seat, we'll finish this last part. Keep some rice grains and